Friday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Geeks at Sea, where I, your host Bimji, randomly pulls some person off the streets and gets them to talk about their inmost secrets of growing old within the ACG scene. With me here tonight is Jolene. Hi, say hi to everybody, Jolene.
Hi everyone, this is Jolene here from AniManGaki. How's everyone
Yeah.
doing on Friday night? Yeah.
Dang it! Here I was telling everyone that you were some rando person that I just pulled off from the streets. God dang it! Why do you have to blow my cover like that, Joe?
Sorry. Just walking around.
All right. Anyways, jokes aside, so if you've never listened in to one of these podcasts before, and tonight is going to be an absolutely pure audio show. What actually happens is that I actually bring in random people that's been around the scene for a very, very long time, and by fairly long. Sorry, blah, my England is killing me tonight. Fairly long time. It actually means someone who's been around for at least 15 to 20 years, and so on and so forth, kind of thing. We are the I think here's the funny thing. We are officially known as the old takus right now, apparently.
The otakus.
Yeah, and there's a friend of mine was sharing this on Facebook the other day. So apparently we are officially now known as old takus. So it's OLDTAKUs. And it's
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, so we are apparently the people who are identified as the people who used to watch anime on VHS.
Oh, I wonder if some of the viewers here know what VHS are.
I know, right? Well, so anyways, so yeah, so that's what more. This whole show is more or less a journey through nostalgia in some ways, but it's more about sharing a little bit of where we came from and documenting to some level our journey together as a community. Okay. So yeah, but before we begin, I want to just do a couple of quick standard disclaimers for everyone, because especially if you're new to the show. Disclaimer number one: please remember that everyone here, like Jolene here with me, we're all going to be sharing personal stories, and because these are all personal stories, please always remember that we are not reliable narrators of our own lives. We have our own biases. Our memories are not perfect. If you catch us saying anything that's factually incorrect, please, I implore you to correct us either in the comments or in chat. I 100% encourage it. Refresh our memories. All right. So that's number one. Number two, Jolene currently still is very much working for AniManGaki. I was in the past very much behind the scenes for Comic Fiesta. All right. And despite everything that we're going to be sharing with you, we're going to share with you stories once again. Please always remember that the stories that we're going to share are from our individual perspectives. Our opinions are our own and should not be considered the opinion of the entire organization. All right. So keep that in mind as we go along. And we're all going to have a wonderful, fun time tonight. Well, hopefully, wonderful, fun time tonight as we, go through some really nostalgia berries and shites. By the way, guys, I probably should mention this a little bit. Julie's really, really nervous about this. I think
Very.
yeah, because I've done but all things considered, and I've told Julien just before the show as well. I've done 16 of these, and I was streaming during the COVID years as well, because hey, people need communication kind of thing. I need social interactions kind of thing. I still feel nervous every time a mic is put in front of me. I think it never stops, and I don't think that will ever change. So Jolene, don't worry about it.
I'll breathe.
She completely iced out on me just like a second ago.
I'm thinking what to say.
Yeah. Jolene, okay, so here's the thing. I want to give you a quick warning here, because we're still very early in the show. I just want a quick heads up. Yeah, please. If you are thinking, at the very least, please hum.
Okay, can I'll just
because neither one of us is on camera. So
right.
if you fall silent, I'm going to expect the worst. And
That I ran away.
oh no, that your internet died on you.
Oh, okay. Let's pray for internet now. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now with the nervous formalities out of the way, let's start. So Jolene, how we start with this show, Geeks at Sea in particular, we always start from the very, very beginning. And what I mean by very, very beginning is I ask all my guests one very, very simple question. What was your first geekdom? How do you get into it?
My story was I think this was back in when I was 13 years old. Um my cousin had a PlayStation, so he was playing Final Fantasy 8 a lot. So we would
PS1, was it?
Yeah, correct. The PS1, the super old one, you put the disc inside. So he usually dragged all of us little cousins to sit around and watch him play Final Fantasy. So he's playing and playing hours and hours in. So some of us got roped into this Final Fantasy fandom. And then from there, I got more interested in the gaming world. What is it all about? Do you remember Mega TV?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so Mega TV came, parents subscribed. So that was my continuation to the anime otaku kingdom lah. When AXN was introduced, and the very first anime that I saw was on AXN was Samurai X.
Oh really? So
Yeah, that was my very
So let me get this one straight, because once again I've done like 16 of these, and
Yeah.
you had never been exposed to any anime related stuff, like no manga, no comics, no geeky stuff at all until you were like 13, 16. Was it 13? Was it 13, right?
I think about 12 or 13 like
Yeah,
that, like
around
that.
that
I was
time.
very into it. Well, TV3 that time also had like Doraemon and stuff, but I wasn't very serious. It was like our casual Sunday cartoons where we just sit around and watch. But when I really went into it was around 12 or 13 years old.
All right.
I got really serious. Yeah.
Just as a quick sanity check, yeah. This was you at this time you were living in Selangor, Malaysia at that time, right? Like we're talking about Subang, Selangor area, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, in Subang, yeah, correct.
Right. So the reason why I'm asking is because here's the funny thing. Because what happened was that I was I once again I've done this show with a number of people, and like some of these people were people that were like grew up in Penang, you know? And also obviously I've done shows with people in Thailand and in Indonesia as well. So one part that's very interesting is that like for a lot of people within Malaysia, right, especially those who grew up in a very Chinese centric areas, especially their first sort of like exposure to geeky stuff very commonly has been comics that were laid like in salons that were just there as reading material while their parents went in for themselves. So like in my case, like my grandmother and my aunt used to go to like hair salons, and then like you're a kid, what are you gonna do in a hair salon, right? You were forced to sit down, nothing else to do. You just randomly pick up books to read.
Yeah.
And all these salons know that. So what they do is they actually have like little bits of books around. So a very common shared one for a lot of people who grew up around that time, or at least my age, lah, 86 that time there. Actually, we're both the same age. What am I even talking about?
Oh, why? Okay.
Right? So it's that kind of thing. Like a lot of us grew up with Old Master Q that way. Like our first introduction with Old Master Q was because of hair salons.
Correct, yeah. Oh yeah, that's Lofuti as well, right?
Exactly. No, by the way, that's exactly Master Q in Chinese. We call it Lofuti, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly. So
okay.
but for you specifically, the biggest impression, the biggest thing that got you into all of this, right, was specifically when you were 13, going through PS1, specifically not even FF7, but specifically FF8.
FF8 itself, yeah, that got me into the whole world. Final Fantasy 8 was the first one. Yeah.
So then after that, the big anime that you could remember immediately after that is already Kenshin itself.
Kenshin. Then I remember the second one was Ranma that came on AXN. Yeah, Ranma Half.
I think like during that time, like AXN was doing a bunch of animes.
A lot.
Yeah. So like I think thanks to AXN, we were introduced to also things like, excuse me,
Gensumaden
Yeah,
Sayuki.
exactly.
Remember
That was the
one?
next one.
Yeah.
That's exactly the next one, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Oh God. Then okay. Yeah. No. But please, I cut you off. Please continue.
No worries. Yeah. So, yeah, my first serious one anime was actually Samurai X. I remember feeling a bit confused because anime is very pretty when they draw the characters. So there was one time Kenshin was very near to the screen,
Mhm.
and I was confused whether Kenshin is a girl or guy. So I tried to look. I tried to look at the side of the screen, but yeah, I was a kid back then, lah. So I was thinking whether it's a girl or a guy. Then after following the series more, then yeah, I got to explore other animes like yeah, I mentioned Ranma, Gensumana Sayuki, Ayashino Seres.
Oh God.
Then yeah, remember when we had SPM, then Ragnarok came.
We're talking MMO, right?
Yes, the MMO, the
Right.
MMO side.
Right. Right.
So yeah, the more and more. I mean, I'm glad lah. Over the years, we had a lot of the anime and the gaming stuff being introduced to Malaysia as we grew up also. Mm.
Mm. Just to give everyone a little bit of a timeline, right? Like I think when oh God, I suddenly can't remember when did we take SPM again? We're 17 at that time. It was in 2000 and
2003.
2002,
Yeah,
2003 at that time, right? Yeah, exactly.
2002, 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were studying. I remember studying for SPM. Then I wanted to take a break.
Right.
That time we had to unplug the LAN cables
Right. Right.
to disconnect the phone, and then we had to go online with our super laggy internet connections and play Ragnarok to pass the time.
God.
Mm.
Did I even? I'm trying to remember whether I ever played RO on my home dial-up, and I don't think I had that strong an impression of it.
Well, you had StreamX at time, is it?
No, not
StreamX
that.
was stronger.
Well, yes, there was that, but like I think like there was obviously this period that before StreamX came out in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And cute fact, my parents insisted on pronouncing it as StreamyX because
Streamy.
because it's STREAM, then
Mm-hmm.
YX.
Yep.
And the funny thing is that all the official ads and everything else refer to it as StreamX. But like my parents, being the defiant people that they are, insisted on calling it StreamyX, like
Streamy X.
StreamyX. There's like always this extra syllable in between. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but anyway, but yeah, no, because I think so what happened was during the same time for me, I was really into cyber cafe culture. Like I would go
Oh,
out
okay. Yep.
into the cyber cafes. Uh I would be like checking out like the games that are available in that space at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most of my gaming experiences during that time was less at home and more at these cyber cafes. Yeah.
So you played Ragnarok at cyber cafes at that time.
That's the thing. I like the memory is very vague for me now. Like I will honestly tell you that I would believe either one. Like this is the crazy
Mm-hmm.
part because it's been so long for me, right? Like it's
Mm.
just not that vivid in my head anymore because I will tell you that I've definitely played RO at home, but I just don't remember how much of it was at home and like specifically when I was in, 17, when I was 17, like whether
Mm-hmm.
it was mostly at home or mostly at the cyber cafe because at the same time I was playing a lot of games in cyber cafes.
Oh, I remember Gunbound as well at that time. Yeah.
Oh, I never got in behind Gunbound, strangely enough.
Oh, I didn't go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I never got
Yeah,
behind
Gunbound was
Gunbound.
big.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, Gunbound was really fun. I saw people playing it. I love Worms, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's the same, almost the same, isn't
It's
it?
the same game.
The same game. Once
I'm
with arms, one with cute gun, yeah, vehicles.
Worms are like I still
Hmm.
remember every like sound effect from Worms.
Wow. Do they still have worms?
I think you can still find it on Steam if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100%
Oh,
certain,
okay.
but I know like I remember weirdly enough like recently I saw some VTubers playing it. So I
Oh,
know the game still
probably a
exists.
new. Yeah. Can go check it out.
Yeah.
I know Gunbound still exists. Though.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not
Hmm.
sponsored by any of these brands. So
Just reminiscing the past.
so if any one of you guys feel like pressuring these brands into giving us some money, like please by all means. like in a meanwhile, like yeah, we'll just be sitting in our little corners here, like chatting things up. But yeah, okay.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
but I don't. Is Gunbound still around though?
Gunbound, I believe, is still around. But not a lot of people play it because all the I think the last time I went in, there was a lot of expert people playing,
Oh,
and then it
shite.
lags a lot.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, the lag
So
will kill you.
for newbies to go in is a bit hard.
I know Maple
Mm.
Story is still around. Fascinating part.
Oh,
Maple Story is still
yeah.
around.
Oh, that one came out the same time as Ragnarok, or
I think
was it
no
later?
Maple Story was much later. But like I
Oh,
think what they
later.
did was they reset the game and there's a new like sort of a new experience for Maple Story. It's more or less still the same thing. You still just run up the numbers like crazy.
Mm.
Yeah. RO has a
Still,
separate
right?
like you can find a full 3D version of RO right now. Actually, my fiance is playing it right
That
now.
one's called Ragnarok 2.
Is it
I
called right now too?
personally I don't really like the whole 3D
Mm.
style. Yeah, I prefer the old ones. But unfortunately, the old ones, I know it's all the private servers only you can play. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a bit sad.
Did you ever get behind World of Warcraft? Like talking about MMOs of that day, do you ever get behind World of Warcraft?
Well, oh no, I haven't. I did not touch that one because from what I saw and heard about World of Warcraft, it takes out a lot of your time.
I mean, all
A
MMOs
lot.
do.
This one particularly takes up a lot of your times. Ragnarok, I mean, we used to have a limit on how long you can play, but World of Warcraft, yeah, I didn't have interest, or I didn't dive into it. Yeah.
Do you still remember how Ragnarok used to charge like their service, the game
Oh,
itself?
right. I believe I still have the time card somewhere hidden in my
It is
room.
it is like you pay for a fixed amount of time kind of thing, is
Yeah,
it?
I think it
Oh,
was
okay.
7 ringgit at the time. For 10 hours, or
Oh, is it?
usually you have a day pass as well. Yeah, 7 ringgit a day pass.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's the thing because I remember. So this is a crazy part, right? Because I remember that World of Warcraft um had the subscription system, which is like you pay a month kind of thing. And to a Malaysian
Right.
at the time, like just for those who don't know, like the exchange rate for Malaysian ringgit to US dollar, which is what the World of Warcraft subscription was based in, right? Was was basically essentially 4 to 1. I think during that time for us it was just 3.6 to 1, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
So but like you can just round it up to 4 to 1. And basically what that meant is like, oh, if I was gonna like if you were charged $15 for a monthly subscription for World of Warcraft, it would have costed the average Malaysian 60 ringgit, 60.
Mm-hmm.
And I
For a
remember
month to play.
correct,
Is it?
and yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And as a teen, right, you're like holy shit, that's a lot of money, you know?
yes,
Like
yeah.
I to be fair, I'm not really that well off to do. I was telling a lot of people, like people who listened in on the stream before, people would know that like I used to
Mm.
mooch on my friends and families like gaming machines. Like I never had a PlayStation myself, kind of thing. Like
Oh,
it was sorry, or rather like I never really had a console for myself. The only real
mm-hmm.
okay, that's not entirely fair, but like the only real like the my full game my full proper console experience was when I went out to work when I was 15 for 2 months to collect money and buy a PS2.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
that was my experience. So, yeah, so 60 ringgit a month for a game that I would have to continue paying every month, you know,
Mm.
was going to be a bit
Yeah.
crazy. And I remember like when RO started charging because RO started off free, right?
Yeah, RO started off free, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then when
Then they
it
started to implement the time cards and then a monthly pass. Yeah.
correct, and I think when that started, I was like, I stopped playing immediately. Yeah, I jumped onto the next free one. I think at the time it was like playing Lineage 2 at the time.
Oh yeah, that time, that era, that time they came out with a lot of other MMORPGs.
Yeah, these were the early 2000s kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think what happened was that just as a reference, like at the time, World of Warcraft was quickly becoming well known as the biggest money making game there was around.
Yep.
So like people were looking at World of Warcraft as a thing, and there are some games that actually, some studios actually, in fact, that actually made their money off ripping off World of Warcraft. One very notable one is like there was a Chinese company that had like basically what is essentially is a reskin World of Warcraft. Like it's mechanically identical except that they just changed all the assets and names and assets and everything else. And it
Okay.
worked because very specifically, it worked not only because like they reskinned the thing, but also because at the time World of Warcraft couldn't enter China because China had that, you know, the digital Great Wall kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think it's referred as the Red Wall of China or something like that. But yeah, basically they had that. So because the MMO couldn't get into the Chinese market created their own ripoff version, and then that became the Chinese version of World of Warcraft, and it just blew up, and like that company became super rich.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
but you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, new things. You learn new things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the
Yeah.
thing was like because what happened was that I was listening in onto the games industry during that time already, because I was kind of curious about like, oh, like what's this about? Does this work? Does that not work? Kind of thing, you know?
Right.
So yeah, so like the World of Warcraft thing was like the big one.
That was the same time as Ragnarok, that era, correct?
I think so. I can't quite remember really. I think like around when we were like 2002, 2003, that time. It was around that time. You can't like if anyone wants to correct me to the decade, like you're probably going to be right because it's been so long for me. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So you went into RO for a bit, and that was like I assume that took up quite a bit of like bandwidth and attention from you. Were you still watching and following like animes religiously during this time?
Yeah, at the same time while playing Ragnarok also, then yeah, the era of internet came in, and then we had those other sites we can go on to view animes from Malaysia. Yeah. So
So
yeah,
so
that was
so
that era.
so
Mm.
I'm gonna put this out
Oh,
there. Like we're all sinners here.
okay.
I will always be the first to I've actually, by the way, I have very openly said this on stream. Look,
Okay.
I'm not proud of taking to the high seas. I don't think anyone should be. I want to emphasize that. But at the same time, when you are a teenager and you're shit poor, you take what
I
you can
mean,
get.
that time access to anime was very limited to Malaysia as well. So
Exactly.
we had these other resources that we
Exactly.
were very, yeah.
Right. Like
Mm.
no, I mean, like nowadays you can get free shows from official channels on YouTube. Like I'm not even
Yep.
joking. Muse literally, by the way, just in case you don't know, like Muse actually has a YouTube channel that they actually post up animes like that's under their under their licensing. Like you can just watch it on Muse YouTube.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
you can do that. That's absolutely free. Yes, and I do mean it. Like that's absolutely free. You can also and then Shueisha, which is the hit publisher for Shonen Jump. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know who Shonen Jump is and you're into anime, I think you might need to do some
Yeah.
reading. Um, but yeah, like Shueisha themselves has a manga app that you can download off Google Play that is not region restricted, mind you. So you can download it in Malaysia, you can download it in Singapore, and all that kind of stuff. And
Okay.
they
Yeah.
have instantly, like they have localized like English mangas that you can read for free as well. Yeah,
So go.
yeah.
Mm.
So by the way, the app is called Manga Plus, and this is not the first time I've plugged the damn app.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
please, like if you are an English reader, and you like to support like Shueisha's like original localizations and stuff like that, especially if you want to like support their mangas and stuff like that, or just to show that you like, hey, dude, I'm really into your shit, you know, that kind of thing. Like, go read it from the official channels if you can, you know. I know these days, like for convenience sake, it's nicer to have one of those consolidated apps where they pull from like manhwa, manga, and every other source imaginable. But like, hey, if you don't let the the publishers know that they have a crowd here, they won't look here, that kind of thing. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Go and support your originals, guys.
I mean, support original when you can,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, so I'll be the first to tell you, like, yeah, I'm not proud of taking to the high seas when I was younger, but like, hey, I was also shit poor.
I mean, that was that era where we were curious, and then we don't have any other ways to get.
There were no options. There were no options.
Yeah,
Absolutely
no
no
other
options.
alternates like now. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing, right? Like, I think if you look overseas, some places they would have like video rentals, where they would buy official DVDs and you could like actually rent them. The problem is that even for us, right? Like, even the video rentals are pirated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Right. So like, even if you were to pay money to, like, quote unquote, like, try to do it proper, right? Like, your sources are also pirated. Not to say you don't want to, like, it's not to say you don't want to. I had Justin on a couple of weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a fanatic, man. I swear to God. He was telling me about how he actually spent money, good money, mind you, to actually buy like official, like, localized comics, like the English like English manga from Kinokuniya. So those things were obviously like 16 ringgit or something like that, or pop. 16 was it 32 or something like that. It was insane, right? Like, the amount of money he's willing to toss into it. Like, a lot of us are like, holy shit. Like, not only I was like, holy crap, I feel like damn bad about it, but like, no, most of us can't afford that.
At the time, yes, we cannot, but now we can. Yeah.
Anyways, so okay. So you took to the high seas. What were you watching at the time?
So I was searching and got a few hit and miss. Then I landed on one of my most favorite anime of all time now, which was My Hime. Have you heard of My Hime?
Oh shit! Oh god.
My Hime Marotome. Yeah.
Oh god! I need a visual. I need to check this out because I
need a visual.
I know it. It's just for some reason I don't have a picture in my head, and it's annoying the crap out of me.
Do you want me to Google it? I mean, I even went to the lengths of going to, I can't remember the VCD shop that we had in Malaysia that was selling all this anime stuff. I even like joined their membership and stuff. So I went there and I bought a DVD box of My Hime. It's sitting on my shelf right now. I'm staring at it.
And I want to just flag this out, right? Like, so I bought a lot of translated comics when I was around that same age as well. And the thing is that I didn't know that they were pirated. I only found out like in the last decade or so that they were pirated.
You bought the BM one or the English translated one?
I bought a Chinese one.
The Chinese ones.
Yeah.
Oh, they're affordable. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, growing up, you wouldn't know. And then the thing is that now, more recently or so, I've heard rumors that apparently Comic House isn't official. Like, they are not officially licensed. I don't know how true that is.
Okay. Are they still around?
I think Comic House recently, it's up already. Recently.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% certain. But yes, so I don't know whether they're official. Like, the rumor I've heard is that they're not. I really, really don't know. I've always believed that they were, and I sincerely hope that they are. Yeah, but because I think Comic House. Now I have to ask you this because you didn't mention this at all. Because you jumped all the way straight from what essentially is your early teens to your late teens, and during that time you didn't mention any of these series. So I want to ask this real quick. Did you ever read Dragon Ball?
No, I have not.
A very very brave statement to make on stream.
I mean, okay. Honestly, there's a lot of the old animes that I have not seen. Dragon Ball is one of them. Yeah. Fate, I haven't. Yeah.
We're talking about this one.
Yeah. There's a lot on my list.
Right. I'm gonna go with the stereotypical question then, like the stereotypical series, because this is very, because you grew up in Selangor, I grew up in Selangor as well, so like the exposure, like the
Right.
opportunities
Yeah,
were
but
more or less there. So I'm gonna go through
yeah,
the
checklist is
standard
it?
few. I've got a small checklist. So
Okay.
Doraemon, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Mystery Naga, yes or no?
Doraemon, is it?
Yeah, Doraemon.
Doraemon's a yes.
Okay, Mystery Naga.
Oh, Mystery Naga. Mystery Naga, isn't it Dragon Ball?
No, it's not. That's Mutiara Naga.
No. Wait, what's Mystery Naga? Okay, then that's a no.
By the way, Mystery Naga is the weirdest locally translated comic. One off, like, at least. I think the others was still somewhat understandable, but Mystery Naga was the weirder one. I think the
Okay, now
only
I'm
the other one would be Crayon Shin-chan, which is also weirder. Um, so Mystery Naga official title in Japanese, the full
okay.
official title in Japanese is. I'm gonna pause just in case anyone actually knows in chat and like feels like he wants to like hammer it out just for the fun of it. full net title, yeah, is Dragon Quest Dino Daiboken.
Dino.
Daiboken. It's basically, in English, properly translated, would be Dragon Quest Dice Grand Adventure.
Oh, it's Dragon Quest in English, is it?
It's Dragon Quest Dice Grand Adventure, specifically Dice Grand Adventure. So there's DAI apostrophe S Grand Adventure, or Big Adventure, depending on how you want to localize that. Yeah. So the reason why I'm very proud of this is because finding it outside, like if you ever wanted to reread it, it's a nightmare if you don't know the full name.
Dragon. Oh, the name. But is it because it's very long, the name? Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai.
So the story on that one is very interesting, and I don't know the full picture. Like, I want to know the full story, but I really don't know. So what happens is that Dragon Quest is actually a very big title in Japan. I think you know that, right? So it's very big in Japan. It's very big in the States. But it within this region, it didn't quite catch as much attention, like this specific region. And what happens is that there's Dragon Quest. Like, Dragon Quest started from the games, very much, which is under Square Enix, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Oh, okay.
The rights is actually held by Square Enix, by the way, in case you're wondering. So what happens was like, it was like Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Quest 2, Dragon Quest 3. I don't remember what the ordering was, like, so the games all came out and everything else. But somewhere in between, right, there was a Dragon Quest storyline that was done specifically as a manga for Shueisha, like it was published under Shueisha. It's weird because you also have to recognize that Square Enix themselves actually has a publishing arm. Did you know that?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, for what most people don't know, right, is that if you check Full Metal Alchemist,
Right.
Full Metal Alchemist isn't published under Shueisha. A lot of people think that it's a Shonen Jump series. It's not. It's actually published
It's
under Square Enix's one. So it's actually under Square Enix's one of their publishing arms. So it's really interesting. So what happens is that the Dino Daiboken one, like, despite that, right, Dino Daiboken was released under a Shueisha, like under Shonen Jump, which is really weird.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very, very fascinating. I don't know the full story behind like how that happened, but so it's like it's a Dragon Quest, but it's not a Dragon Quest kind of thing, you know, all that kind of thing. So really, really interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. I think I might have seen it around in the bookshops, but I didn't pick it up.
You absolutely should have. Like, anyone growing up in Malaysia during that time, right? Because we don't have that many things to read. Like, Mystery Naga was automatically like the next big thing you definitely would have read. Yeah. So let's go into the checklist. Yeah. Next one I'm going to ask is a bit sexist. I do apologize beforehand for this. Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon, yes, I've seen.
That's good.
I was surprised it was aired on Malaysia TV also, but okay.
I was too, I'll be honest, because the henshin scene
The
was not cut.
yes.
The henshin scene was not cut, and like I was like staring at it, going like, how did this cross censors?
What's this? Yeah, Sailor Moon,
I mean,
definitely, yes. I believe it was on AXN as well.
no,
And
it's
on
not.
normal TV. Was it?
No, it's
Then
not.
it was on normal TV and TV7, TV3.
It was on TV4, Metrovision.
TV. Oh, wow, you remember?
Yeah, because so I've had, as I said, I've done like 16 of these, right? Like
Mhm.
the overlap consensus has been Metrovision. Some has identified it with NTV7, but I believe it's still Metrovision.
Metrovision.
I can be
I
wrong.
haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, I know. Most people forget it because Metrovision didn't really last that long. Yeah, and some mix Metrovision up with Mega TV. It's very common for us.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a very, very common mix up. So yeah.
He was before Astro, guys.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, look, everybody went through it too. Everyone had cable TV at some point. Like every country had cable TV at some point. Really, really short time.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, okay. So I still want to finish off the checklist because I'm going through. This is Comic House's like original release series, all right?
Okay.
So so there's a few more. I'm just gonna add it in. Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho. I have seen it. I have not watched it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Crap, my brain is blanket. Oh, you're right. GS Mikami.
Oh my god, what's this?
Okay, so that's the one.
Wow.
So
GS Mikami.
So I will tell you this one. Like I am an unabashed fan of GS Mikami. And I think it deserves more attention. Like it's a really old series and the comic artist unfortunately has not like done so well in more recent years. Like the releases that he has done has not been so fantastic. But I really, really wish GS Mikami got more attention because it was a really, really fun comic. But anyway, okay, let's go into the next one. One final one for you. All right? One final one for you. Dick Chagas.
Dick Chagas.
Do you even know this one? Do you recognize
Very
this
familiar. Dick Chagas got Crayon Shin-chan.
Yes, thank you. There you go.
Oh my god, yeah, this one I watched it in BM. I also bought like VCDs at the Pasar Malams because it was in Cantonese.
Oh my god.
It's so fun in Cantonese.
Oh god, I've actually heard Cantonese voiceovers for Dragon Ball before. I never get used to it. I've also heard the Cantonese dub for Pokemon before. It's fascinating. But I still can't get used to it. Like my ears are just not used to it.
I used to watch Pokemon in Cantonese.
I would rather.
I don't know, for some reason the VCD sellers they sell everything in Cantonese version.
And I don't even know where to get it from.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, so we're done with the checklist. So
Dick Chagas, of course.
Yeah. So this is more or less the full check. This is like the big checklist because we're talking about like manga in like the early 2000s kind of thing, the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s kind of thing. That is the list that a lot of us were exposed to. I think the only ones to include after that would be like I think Get Backers would be a very good example. I think that would be included. Fist of the North Star. I think it was pretty big also for us.
Oh yeah, that one. I've seen it around. Yeah.
Yeah. Was JoJo very big? I really don't remember. Oh, Slam Dunk, yes.
JoJo, Slam Dunk is. JoJo, I don't think so.
Was
I can't remember.
Because of EXN? I don't know. I'm asking because.
Yeah, I believe it's because of AXN. They got traction here, and then it blew very big. Yeah.
Right. So it was AXN, right?
AXN that time. Yeah.
Because I don't remember the comics being big here. Don't remember the comics.
No, not very. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, excuse me. Hold on. So yeah, so for those who are ever actually wondering, like what became like huge here, right? Like a lot of it came from AXN during the early times, and then after that, Animax came after that, right?
Animax, yeah. Animax came, yeah.
Yeah. So it was for us like Mega TV. So obviously it was like the first of like RTMs and stuff. Then it went into Metrovision and then NTV7 and then Mega TV and then AXN. This is a quick recap for anyone who just came in, right? Like so from Mega TV to AXN and then from AXN to Animax, right?
Mm.
Right. So, like, at least by the time Animax came in, do you have like an impression of like where you were at this time?
Mm. By the time Animax came in, oh, I can't remember which year did Animax come in
I actually
into
can't
the
remember
scene.
either. I really can't remember either.
Was it during high school?
I, I, I don't think so. So one big anchor for me, believe it or not,
Mm.
was the year that you were mentioning about, which was 2003.
2000.
2003, yeah, because 2003 was the first CF I went to, Comic Fiesta that I went
Oh
to.
wow. This
Yeah.
was before SPM or after
No,
SPM?
but that's exactly it. That was SPM. It was a
Okay.
year of SPM. So what happened was that I
Mm.
remember what happened was I went to an AXN event,
Oh.
and
Mm.
that was when I picked up a flyer for Comic Fiesta at that year.
Oh, you
Yeah,
went to an AXN event too.
yeah.
Wow, okay.
Because
Mm.
AXN had an event at the time. They had this drawing contest and stuff. So I went and like drew shit. It was shit.
Mm.
And then I picked up a flyer to go to Comic Fiesta, and I went there the first time. And then like that
Wow.
was 2003. So for me that was a tentpole thing. So like that time AXN was still like like kind of a big thing. So it's definitely
Mm.
before that was definitely before Animax came in. Yeah, I think at the time we were still like as a kid at that time, I was still dreaming of Animax at the time. Like we were hoping that Animax would come in because we wanted a
Oh yeah, yeah.
dedicated anime channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Fun times. And see how far it went right now. It's
I know,
crazy.
right?
Mm.
I know, right? Anyway. So all right. So from so now I'm just gonna go do a quick aside here, and because it's relevant to the story, what a lot of people don't know here, and we've sort of hinted at this quite a bit already at this point, is that you and I went to the same high school together.
Yep. Is
I,
it
and
secondary year? Yeah.
yes, it is. I use the word high school is just because it's like my my gaijin brain just like warped it.
Sekolah mengenal.
I know, right? By the way, do you know that our Sekolah Menengah was actually a project school?
Yeah, I saw who was it that drew the Taiwan thing, isn't it?
Not only that, like it was this very special. Like we were like a special school. Like we weren't just a normal secondary school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
how special? Yeah, this I didn't know.
So we were like I don't remember how you really define it, but like we were sort of this kind of like, oh, we're going to do a bunch of things differently with this secondary school kind of thing. Like, oh, if it works out for them, then we're going to implement it to other schools kind of thing.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
so like
Was
people
it?
like so
Ah,
for people like
because
us, right? We are not going to be able to tell the difference because like we just know what we know, But I
yeah.
found out that apparently like it's a project school.
Oh, how do you find out?
My
Oh, that's
dad told
interesting.
me. I think my dad told me.
Oh, your dad told you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit of a thing. But anyway, but
Oh.
yeah. So why I was getting with this was that like
Mm.
we went to the same secondary school, so we have quite a bit of a shared history. But it's worth noting that like me and Jolene here, like despite our time shared in the same secondary school, we walk very different paths. We shared very different circle of friends. The biggest connection we have was that we were both prefects at like a brief moment in time, and then I quit and she remained. So yeah, so and I share that mostly because I think most people who know me never expect me to be a prefect
This,
because I don't seem
this
like the
is
type.
past history. Yeah,
I know, right?
past history.
Such a weird thing. Anyways, so the reason why I'm sharing this is because like so there is a gap obviously like from that point when we both graduated in secondary school. Like I'm
Yep.
curious to know where like you shared a lot about like what your geeky influences with until up to secondary school. Tell me what happened after.
Mm. So after secondary school, I was still exploring anime, but at the background lah, because my family also wasn't really into doesn't know about all this anime thing, so there's not really a lot of people who I could share about anime. Eventually, I think my sister also picked up, but slowly. Then went to university, and it took until I think about 2006 or 2007. I can't remember which year exactly. That Yvonne, actually the founder for AniManGaki, she had this idea of creating an anime club at Sunway University.
Okay.
So yeah, so during my time studying, I was in Australian matriculation, then I went on to doing ACCA. I only had like a bunch of friends there that are very interested in anime. It's not very widely topic, because some
Yeah.
people do see it as a bit weird.
Yeah.
Why you grown up? Why you're grown up already, and you're still watching cartoons? They call it cartoons back
Yeah, I
then.
mean, so that's absolutely the case. Like, so what you as you were saying this around 2005, 2006, right? So
Yep.
I think around those years, I was helping out with CF at some level. I was actively participating with like the ACG scene through Comic Fiesta and some of the stuff they were doing. So like I would show up. We would do a bunch of things like I remember like at the time. Gumpak had their own event as well. Like Gumpak used to do like a event every 2 years kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at the time, like you would get situations where, because cosplay was still very new, like it was a concept that most people had never heard of. What happened was that you, like cosplayers, if you walked around in the mall where Gumpak used to run their events. By the way, just as a quick aside, Gumpak used to run this event very specifically in Sungai Wang Plaza. Don't ask me why, but they would specifically run it there. So what happens, like if cosplayers gathered and then like you walked around, because you know, hey, once you're done hanging out or whatever, you want to find a place to eat and stuff. Like you'd have parents staring at you with your kids, and the kids would be weirded out, and some of them even start crying. And then you have this really mean parents that actually start teasing their kids using you, kind of thing. If you can sort of imagine that picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was kind of like
I
how
think
the
I've
scene
heard,
was like
like,
going around the
people
time.
saying, the public saying like, why are you guys dressed up in Halloween costumes when it's not even Halloween?
Exactly,
that kind
exactly. You get that kind of general consensus.
of.
Yeah, that was the public that that was the public atmosphere around sort of ACG related like hobbies and shit. In like the early 2000s kind of thing, early mid 2000s kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, to go on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Where was I?
So I did a quick aside to just paint the scene in where, like, oh hey, this is the kind of atmosphere that you guys would be founding this sort of anime club in, right?
Yeah. So that time, Yvonne created this anime club. So the student body advisor was asking, what kind of activities are you guys planning to do? You can't be gathering weekly and just watching animes or chatting about anime. You got to do something productive, lah. So at that time, the members, I think there were 30 of us. I can't remember. So we were all just gathering, watching animes and stuff. Then most of us do not really know about the events outside that was happening also. I think by that time when we were in the club, CF was there, C2H was there. Then there was the Cyberjaya one, and also the Malacca one. What's the name already?
The JCC.
GACC, right? Yeah.
So funnily enough, you're effectively ticking off every one of my previous shows. So I've done one with I've not done one fully for CF, but I have done one with Nerf specifically for KFKL, but I've done one for JCC, I've done one for C2H.
Oh, you done for C2H as well? Okay.
Yes. So Sarah's one was for C2H. It's in the playlist. This actually falls into the playlist, by the way.
Right.
So yeah, so I did one with Sarah for C2H. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and also,
GCC.
so just want to put a pin. I just want to put a pin in that line of thought just for a second, right? Just to contrast what your student advisor was saying.
Mm,
The funny thing is, apparently, at least according to Ido, the
mm.
clubs can gather every week to do anime screenings is a legitimate club activity, at least to GACC
Oh,
Malacca, like at least
okay.
to Malacca's anime club.
They're fine with it, lah, right?
Yeah, so
Mm,
just it's clear that the standards vary from person to person.
I think the institution as well,
Yeah, yeah, of
they would
course.
like to see us do something before we graduate, that kind of, to leave a legacy, all those kind of thing, lah.
I I
Yeah.
I will
Mm.
leave it to the individuals to define, like for you guys to identify, to define what you consider productive use of your time.
Apparently watching anime isn't one,
I,
according to them. Mm.
I respectfully disagree, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, some of them don't understand.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, he was saying that you guys gotta do something productive. Then he pulls out an article. I can't remember if it's C2H or GACC's article, and just shows that um this the anime event that you guys were doing at that time. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
mm,
I have to ask this then. So basically,
yeah.
you guys never, like, at EMG was not started, like basically what happened was your student advisor very specifically brought up, like, hey, check out this anime event, you need to
Yeah,
do
do
something
something like
like
this.
this.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise, lah.
I
Yeah, it
suppose.
turned out. Yeah.
So it's really crazy that, like, I mean, because I think it's really crazy that any student advisor would literally come up to you and say, if you want to start a anime club in this school, you have to run an event.
Oh no, I mean, like we already had the anime club. It's just that we've been doing like screenings and stuff. So he's thinking like, maybe you guys can do more than gather like this.
Okay.
Let's do an event here.
All right.
It's an
Okay, so
article.
so
Yeah,
so just to
yeah.
correct,
Mm.
the my understanding a little bit. Oh, by the way, guys, I've seen some of you guys who have just joined us. I just want to put it out here. Like, if you have questions for Jolene or me, please feel free to drop it in the link in the description below. There's actually a link to a Google form. If you want to just, drop it there, there's no limit, just spam. I cannot guarantee that I'll get to all the questions, but if you're interested, just drop a bunch of questions there. If I get a chance towards the end, I'll drop it with Jolene and we'll go over it together. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. If you just hang out, and you just want to, like, listen to us tell, like, old man stories kind of thing, that's fine too.
Grandma stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. If you want to drop in the in the chat as well, please feel free to. But the risk about dropping in chat is that, like, sometimes some of us will miss it. So yeah, leave it in the link if you want to. Anyway, so coming back,
Right.
so just so I have the understanding correct, Yvonne founded the anime club in Sunway University.
Anyway, yep.
Right. So, but after she founded the whole thing, after some time, like, do you remember how long this was?
So Yvonne was actually on her last semester in Malaysia, so she wanted to do something before she leaves to the US. So she only had like a year to be productive and do something. So yeah, she founded an anime club, and then from there, I think 2 months after, we no, not 2 months after. I think a few months after,
Right.
we officially launched AniManGaki.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, but fun fact, AniManGaki 2009 was not in August. I specifically remember the day. Do you guys remember when Michael Jackson actually passed away?
Oh God, why? Like, why is that specific?
Because AniManGaki's date actually happened, I think, the day after he passed away.
Well, I guess that's one way to remember it.
Yeah. That's how I remember it, lah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, let me bring it up. I
Right.
can't remember.
Well,
I think it
okay.
was in June. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so while you're looking that up, right? Like it's funny that you should mention dates for events because so one of the crazier things that CF used to care about a lot, and this is really the history of like how when CF was first organized, right? Like one of the
Mm,
crazier things that CF used to think a lot about, right, was very specifically worrying about when SPM would be, because at the
okay.
time when CF was like the early years of CF, about
Mm-hmm.
half, if not like a lot of its audience were schoolgoers, were high
School.
school
Yeah.
goers, because
Mm-hmm.
that was that we were the batch of people that were into anime during that time, right?
Yeah.
So because SPM was such a large part of the crowd, right? Like we had to be very careful about making sure that it had to be after SPM because we would lose like half the crowd if like everyone was just stuck studying and stuff. You couldn't get your parents' permissions to go out and stuff like that, you know? So
Yeah.
so we would always wait for we would actually wait for SPM's dates to be announced and then for us to get a rough idea on when the schedule is, because there's an SPM schedule like, oh, you take, your exams during these dates specifically, right? And then
Yeah.
once that is out, we would then only look for a venue that was available on those dates that we were looking for, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, so like early days of CF, like why the dates took so long, like for us to
Mm-hmm.
confirm and announce and all that kind of stuff, it had everything to do with the simple fact that we had to wait for the SPM schedule to come out first.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Hmm.
yeah. So anyway, all right. So did you
Interesting.
manage to find a date?
Yeah. Yeah. So AniManGaki 2009 happened 27, 28th of June at
Wow,
the Sunway University Hall. Yeah.
insane. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, funny fact as well. I remember, like I don't know whether you put in this much thought when it came to like selecting your dates.
Mm-hmm.
But did you like were you specifically looking for a quarter, or was it like, oh, I just threw a dart on a date and like just this went with it?
This one, selecting the dates I wasn't involved in is more on the because at the time I joined the club also I was a normal member.
Right.
Um, then the decision was left to the president, which was Yvonne, and the secretary, yeah, the higher ups lah. So
Mm.
I'm not too sure how they selected the date, but I believe it's based on the availability of the hall at Sunway University as well lah.
Okay, okay. So you were subject more like the venue's availability. It's more like contingent on
Mm,
venue's ability than anything else, though.
yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Because
okay.
they usually use the hall for like graduation ceremonies, other
Yeah,
program
of course.
activities and stuff. Yeah.
So like another thing that like just to give an extra like bit of texture to one of the considerations for CF back in the day, was
Mm,
that like CF was very specifically careful about like watching out for like what essentially was like, oh, were we going to be the event for this quarter kind of thing, you know?
okay.
So because the scene used to be pretty like small, you know?
Yeah, I
So
was. Yeah.
so like what we used to do back in the day was like events would like sort of make sure we avoid the quarter, because if the events were too back to back kind of thing, people would be like stuck split between like, oh, choosing events to go to, because like you only choose like one every week or so to go to, or once every month kind of thing to go to back in the day, right?
Mm, yeah.
Especially if you expect people to come in from out of town and things, right? So yeah, so it wasn't
Mm,
until but more recently, because like the crowd has sort of grown significantly enough that you can expect a decent crowd without having to worry about people having to come in from outstation and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The scene
So,
has grown
mm.
dramatically.
Well, how do you get
Mm.
roped in? Like, were you roped into the first EMG itself then, Joe?
Yeah, I was actually involved in the first 2009 AMG itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I joined the S.E.A, which is the anime club in Sunway Uni, on my last year of uni as well. Then yeah, just wanted to try something new. Then yeah, got my hands dirty in this. I think at that time also, when AniManGaki was happening, I was preparing for my ACC exams as well.
Wow. Like,
Yeah, so that was hmm,
did you jump in with the thinking that you would be involved in like an event, or like were you like, oh, I just want to like join an anime club, and how did I get myself tied into this thing?
oh, it is the later lah. So basically, I also want to find friends who had similar interests. Can talk about anime and stuff lah.
Right.
Yeah, so I joined the club. Then when they mentioned, we're gonna do an event, I said, okay, why not? Let's give it a try lah. It's quite it seems quite interesting. It's a new challenge also lah. Yeah. So whoosh.
So
Um
how much of a challenge
yeah.
has it been? Was it at that time?
Oh, it was quite challenging also lah, because none of us had all of us actually had zero knowledge on how to run an event. How to actually where to actually start and all those kind of thing. So funnily enough, we actually planned a trip down to Malacca. It was GACC event, and then we went there, opened a booth, and see how things were run. I think that was the time I met you after high school. The first time after high school. Yeah, you were in your cosplay and stuff.
Really?
Hmm.
Oh, shite. Okay, so if you saw me in GACC in cosplay, means that you saw me like in my Kamina one.
Yes, you mentioned. I remember this thing you're saying. You're on your chewing gum diet or something.
Oh God. It's like one of the biggest regrets about like being in Singapore is that chewing gum is so hard to find.
Mm. Right, it's banned over there, right? Mm.
Oh, it's a funny story on that one. It's not technically you're just not allowed to sell it. The actual letter of the law is that you're not allowed to sell it.
You can bring it.
So if you have it for personal use, it's fine.
Yep. Oh, okay.
And in some cases, you can actually get a prescription for it.
What prescription for chewing gum?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Because it's great for halitosis.
Okay.
Yeah. So dental gum is a thing. So that's a whole thing. So yeah. So it's actually legal in some cases. Like you can get prescriptions for it if you need to buy it from a doctor. Possession is not illegal, but you do need to like you just can't find it here, you know.
Oh.
So anyways.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's keep on. So you were taking notes from GACC at the time then?
Yeah, GACC. I can't remember whether we dropped by C2H. I remember Cyberjaya one was after us. So yeah, from there we just trying our luck, reaching out to I think Animax. Yeah, Animax was around that time. So we reached out to Animax. They actually came in for AniManGaki the first time. Then other like dojins. I don't believe we have exhibitors at that time. I remember having a fruit stall. It was quite interesting.
I don't remember so I don't recall actually being at the first AMG myself. I remember attending one or two AMGs, but I really don't have that strong an impression of being like there for everyone myself, to be honest.
The very first one. Did you go to the one at the multipurpose hall in somewhere uni?
Yeah. So I've definitely been at least to one of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I can't remember like if I've been to multiple one of those, or is it like did I been to like all of them, or even if that was the first one, and things like that. I really can't recall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And were there any particular like unexpected learnings that you had to pick up on, like between you going to all these events to like observe and learn and all that kind of stuff? Like, were there any like unusual learnings that you had to sort of like unexpected learnings that you had like between what you see in other people's events and trying to execute it yourself?
I think trying to figure out how to execute and how to reach out to the community is quite challenging at that time, right? Because we didn't have like Facebook. Mostly it was done on website.
So it was the outreach that was the difficult one for you, like, at least, was it?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
reaching out to people, trying to publicize AniManGaki, trying to convince corporates to come in and come and visit AniManGaki. Activity wise, I think we had quite an idea of what to run. But I think the publicity of getting people to come was a big issue lah. I think number one was because we were at the university. So the only areas that we can market AniManGaki at that time were printed flyers or printed posters we stuck around Sunway University.
Did you not trying to reach out to other places to hold to put up your flyers and stuff?
That one, I can't really remember whether we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
somehow, it went well. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Do you have any idea whether your initial attendees, right, were mostly from the college, or is it from outside and stuff?
I believe it was a good mix, because we had 700 attendees at the first AniManGaki for 2 days.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then tickets were $8, '8 at times.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm asking is because one of the crazier things, one of the first few things that CF was doing when I was helping out and volunteering for CF, right? One of the first things that I was doing was helping to photocopy flyers. We would have a flyer, somebody would design it, we would make a master copy, and then we'd go into some photocopy place. This is before BOMAS was a thing.
Oh, okay.
So we go to some place with who does offer photocopying services. We take color paper and we'll just mass photocopy them. And then and then what happened was we'll take those and then we'll go over to comic book shops, those unfortunately high seas comic book shops, and go to different places and ask, is it okay, we're doing an event, is it okay we put our flyers here, and stuff like that. We actually did a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there was a lot of shameless asking, oh hey, going to comic book shops and asking, oh, can we do this, and a lot of them were just sure kind of thing, they're just happy to just place it there. Yeah, so that, but yeah, believe it or not,
challenging at the time. Yeah,
it was challenging. It was definitely challenging prior to social media and shit. Yeah. Well, okay, so
time before.
Let's walk through the journey. So you did a few years in the school, and I know, because I know, eventually that you guys took the event out of school. Can you walk us through that journey, what happened, the growth, and what happened, why you ended up where why you had to leave the school and stuff? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So AniManGaki was at the Sunway University for 3 years, 2009, 2010, and 2011. Then eventually 2012, we shifted to SPCC, right? The reason why is because by the time 2011 hit also, the hall couldn't really accommodate the number of packs we were, not to say servicing, what's another word for it? Accommodating.
Right. Basically, you couldn't hold that many people anymore.
Couldn't hold the new people in, couldn't hold if we want to add more contents. So the then community had a discussion with the university and the uni also advises that it might be best for AniManGaki to go outside to further grow the event itself.
So
and it became like this.
So I have questions here. I've got questions here for obvious reasons. So what was the packs that you were thinking about at this time? Do you still remember? Do you know how big was it that your school basically said, yeah, you guys are way too big for us now?
That one, because I actually left AniManGaki after 2010. So 2011 was a new set of committee members inside there with the remainder, any seniors that are remaining. So actually I came back in 2012 after they actually shifted out from university. So that whole discussion, why the uni, how many people they can hold. I'm not 100% sure
No
about that
worries.
one.
Yeah, no
Mm,
worries, no worries. Like like I said during the beginning of this this whole show, right? Like a lot of this is going to be
mm,
your personal stories and stuff like that.
mm.
So
Yep.
like if you can't speak or if you're uncomfortable speaking about something that you're hearing basically was essentially secondhand and all that kind of stuff, like
Yep.
I can perfectly respect. I think we all should perfectly respect the fact that, hey, you know, we only know so much. This is what we're going to put out there. If you want more details, we will have to find somebody who was actually there, right? That's only fair.
Mm,
So
mm,
let's move on a little bit from there then. So like basically your school basically said, hey, you guys all 大个仔 already, too big for us already. Go out and like start to grow up lah, huh? That kind of thing.
yep.
You have to take care of
Yeah.
yourself. Was there
Mm.
was there, do you like, because you weren't part of that process, do you I do apologize if this one is me pressing on the matter a little bit, but like did you hear
Right.
any of like laments from your seniors or like the people who were there during that time? Like were there any particular growing pains that sort of that left an impression on them that they eventually like shared a lot more about? Like did you feel that everyone was there anything that stood up for anyone that was there in the team when you went back?
Mm. Oh, when I went back,
Mm. Like did the
mm.
question make sense? I'm sorry because I know I was stuttering
Wait,
a little bit because I was trying to figure out how
yeah,
to phrase it properly. But in
yeah.
general, was there like because you know like this transition was a difficult one, right? Like moving it out of the school. I would
Right.
imagine it would be a difficult one. So
I believe it was actually I don't think the seniors that were there at the current seniors that were holding the position at AniManGaki had any problems or anything about it. Just because they're bringing AniManGaki outside of the university means that those people who have graduated as well from the uni can actually come back and be a part of AniManGaki again.
so when you mean by a part of it, you mean like basically help organize it and stuff lah.
Organize it, yeah, organize it as well. The behind the scenes, yeah.
Okay. So basically, so what you're saying is also like back at the time, when they were like when AMG was purely a college event, right?
Yep.
The school actually disallowed non-students from helping out with the event.
I
Is that
think
it?
okay, back that time uni actually some uni didn't really have a particular regulation on having outsiders coming, I mean the seniors lah coming back in to join AniManGaki lah. But the board or the main person like the president, treasury, all they have to be the students, the current students of uni lah.
Okay. Were there once again, please feel free to say no to this question, but like were there any
Okay.
legacy problems as a result of that? Like do you have problems where it's like, oh, like I've been like experiences that were lost as a result of this, or was like handovers difficult and stuff like that as a result of this? Was it troublesome? Because you only have like 3 years in university at the most, right?
Right.
So this means that at the end of the day, you always have to always plan your next handover and things like that. Did it cause a lot of problems for the team?
I believe it didn't because there were some students of summer uni that were in AniManGaki since it started in 2019 up until 2011. Until then only we go out. They were still there lah.
Okay. Yeah. I partially asked also because like when I was doing this show with GACC, right? So Ido was
Right.
mentioning to me as well, like how one of the reasons why GACC stopped was because that energy that they like that of the team that wanted to run the event, right, just wasn't quite there in the subsequent years. You know?
Okay.
So it takes a very specific type of person to really want to do it, you know, that kind of thing. So so when that sort of drive didn't quite exist within the new people that were coming in and all that kind of stuff, like they sort of went like, hey, if no one else is going to pick up this banner, let's just go out with a bang. Like we'll just do a big one. We'll just do one nice one after that. Like we'll do a good one and then we'll just wrap it. You know, so that's yeah. So that's at least what happened at GACC. So yeah, so it's interesting.
It's hard to find successors. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really interesting to hear like how AMG has clearly went through a different path. right? So okay, so you came back after transition. Like when was this transition again? Sorry, could you?
2012,
So
yeah.
it was 2012. So
So
you
they moved
came
out
back.
2012, then I came back, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you came back after the transition.
Mm.
What was your initial impression when you came back?
Of course, a bit shocked because there were a bunch of new faces there that I didn't know, but there were a bit of there's only a handful of the seniors who were there from 2009 until 2012 lah. So getting to know the new people and how they work, what their vision was, how they plan things, that was a huge challenge for me lah. Because at that time also I was working full time. And then to juggle both AniManGaki and working was not easy. I'll put it that way lah. So yeah. And also I'm not really a people person also. So for me to take initiative to get to know someone at a short span of time, I think I joined in 4 or 5 months before AniManGaki, 2012, yeah. So they actually had a ball running already.
So basically they were like really planning stuff. So you basically had to go into the flow right in the middle of it. Is that how it felt?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, did you? Okay, now once again, this is going to sound a little rude, but like, did you come back immediately as a co-director, or is it like just sort of, oh, I'm here to like help out kind of thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for 2012, actually, I came back because Yvonne was back on holiday from Yvonne was actually overseas in the US in after 2009. She came back 2012 or so for vacation. So she wrote me in, and then 2012 was more for me to help out as one of the members inside of one of the Gakis inside the whole committee. I think my role that time was external relation, basically going out, finding sponsors, handling exhibitors, that kind of thing. Then in 2013 only, because some of them, they feel a bit tired already taking up the position, and they were talks that saying that they want to rest in 2013. So I did offer and said if no one wants to pick it up, then I'll pick it up as the co-director.
So all this while, right? Just for once again, for those who don't know, right? All this while, at this point, because you've left the college and everything, like you guys were, AMG was staffed by more or less working adults at this point, who were all more or less volunteering on a part, like on your own time, to run this event.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So
it's all voluntary basis. Yeah.
Is it still very much like that right now? Like how? Because I do know that like AMG has sort of evolved over the years. Could you like walk us through this evolution, like this from that point onwards?
So from 2013, it was all voluntary until 2017. So 2017, I reached out to Yvonne. She was still in US. And said, I can't handle this alone anymore because it was growing very big. I mean, you yourself have seen the growth from you were there with me 2013, and I do thank you for that. 2013, 2014, we grew from 1 hall, 2 halls to eventually take up the whole SPCC. Yeah, so I reached out, SOS her to come back. Told her I cannot do this alone anymore. Then 2018, I think 2018, 2019, we delved right in to try to make it a full-time thing. But unfortunately, COVID hit 2020.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so we had to put a pause on that first.
Ouch.
Well,
okay. So
yeah, that was a big hit.
Okay, so Yvonne came back. Like, when did Yvonne come back again? I'm sorry. Like, did you mention?
Okay. 2017. Yeah, she came back 2017.
So it's like just about 1 or 2 years just before COVID and all that kind of stuff.
COVID, yeah. When we wanted to get serious about it, then yeah, COVID hit. So we had to take a step a step back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So COVID is a great place for us to do a quick pause because we do have a couple of questions. So I want to just quickly get into them before we like they get drowned out or I forget about them and
Mm,
stuff. Because because
okay.
because all cards on the
So we
table.
need.
I have
Mm,
forgotten some questions before, so I am
okay.
guilty of that. So yeah.
Mm.
So as a quick question, like what is H was asking, what is a challenge that ACG organizers face that the public is not usually aware of?
Uh,
Do you have like just
it's,
name one? Do you have one that off the top of your head that like that you think are is a thing that might be worth mentioning?
I would say the costing of running the whole event lah. I think you also would understand lah, right?
It's costing a big one. I mean, like all cards on the table. Like
Mm,
I mean I'm aware of the costings to some level.
yeah.
But my role in Comic Fiesta was to spend the money. Not that I didn't care about how much money we were spending, but at the same
All right.
time, like my primary
It's
role was to try and plan and how to use the money.
right.
Yeah.
I believe after COVID, yeah, it got a big of ACG scene has got a big of a huge traction right now. What the public doesn't realize is actually, yeah, I would say the costing to run the events nowadays,
Mm.
because it wasn't like pre-COVID time where legal stuff wasn't very very strict and all those kind of thing. Now the government and the authorities are having eyes on us. There are more and more rules and regulations to adhere to, and a bit more, yeah, legal costs also to adhere to. So it really piles up, and it's taking a toll on really organizing an event these days.
Is legal cost the right phrase? Like I feel like it's compliance. Like basically it's legal compliance, but it's not
Legal
like
compliance, costing as well. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, because
yeah.
so one of the things that like I mean I was doing this with Justin as well. Like because Justin is
Mm,
from the crime desk, right? So what happened
yeah.
was that we were talking about like some of the weirder issues that we were recently facing within the scene, and one of the big things, just FYI by the way, a lot of
Mm,
like we have got to this point in life, right, where there are people within the military, like the Malaysian military, and the
right.
police force and all that, which are actual anime fans. So
Yes,
so that's
yeah.
worth noting. Like just bear in mind that like they are not people who are not aware of anime. Like they are there, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember like Justin very specifically mentioning to me because he was talking to someone about like some stuff. I can't remember what specifically. You please go and watch the show if you like the previous show if you really need to figure out what it was. But basically,
Mm,
he was talking to the chief of police and specifically saying like, oh hey, what advice do you want to like do you have for people and stuff like that, and like Justin was very casually going like, oh, there's this event going on and stuff. So he didn't name drop the event. The
okay.
police actually, the chief of police actually, oh, you're talking about Comic Fiesta, is it?
They're very aware
Yeah, yeah,
of
they're
our
very
events. Yeah,
aware,
these
right?
days.
So
Yes.
so yeah, so that's the
Mm,
thing. Um, so keep in mind that they are aware. They're not like the. It's not a foreign concept to them. They're not this like oh apa kartun itu, you know, that kind of thing. They're not that.
mhm.
That generation has sort of phased out over time already.
I mean, sometimes when we go and talk to
Yeah,
the police station, the police as well, we're quite
yeah,
shocked also that nowadays they know what
yeah, yeah,
cosplay is.
yeah,
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 they can name some of the anime
yeah,
shows that's trending. Yeah,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Anya has been trending in
Oh,
Malaysia for
shites.
a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, so like keep in mind like the authorities know what we are, what ACG is, right?
Yeah, they
So
do know. Yeah.
but but I think like one of the crazier things that most people aren't aware of, and this is the weirdest one, right?
Right.
Is the right to earn money.
The
So
right to earn money.
so there are some exceptions to this rule. Some countries don't have this rule. But what some people don't know is that in Malaysia, if you want to earn money,
Mm-hmm.
you need a working permit.
Mm.
And what this applies to is that it applies to appearances, meaning that if you're a celebrity, you're a guest or anything else, and this is what you were talking about when you were talking about like legal, you know, legal costs and stuff like that, right? Like just
Yep.
having to pay all these taxes and stuff. Like if you
Yep.
give anyone gratuity in any form, be it spending on their hotels or anything else, meaning that even if you don't give them cash, you give them something in kind, you have to pay taxes to the government for what you give to this guest.
Yep.
So now what most people don't know is that there's an extension of this as well, which is boothing. By right, if you are if you don't have a work permit, you're a 100% foreign entity and you come into Malaysia and you earn money, that means that you sell stuff, right? By right. By right, you
Uh-huh.
need to get a permit for that. And you need to be
Yep.
taxed for that.
Yep.
I'm saying this with the understanding that there's a lot of people who don't. I'm saying this with the understanding that that it would implicate a lot of people. But why I'm saying this is that I want like you guys to be sort of aware that if you are earning money in Malaysia by right without actually applying for a license, don't do it too loudly. I'm not advocating I'm not advocating you to do things illegally. I'm saying that you shouldn't be too proud of yourself, if you get what I mean. You know? So God, I really hope I don't land anyone in trouble for this. But yeah, so I think like one of the crazier things is that as people become more and more aware of like events and stuff like that, like what we do,
Yep.
the enforcements become more and more like it becomes like more enforced because no one's going to care if your event's like made out of like 5 people and like you earn like
Yep.
$10 through the whole thing, right? But like if
They're still gonna look into it, yeah.
they're not, they're really not. It's proportional, right? Like but
Oh, okay.
but if you like have like tens and thousands of people and like you have a few $1,000s, like just even a few $1,000s in the place, right? Like it's going to attract some eyeballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely go into some of those kind of things. Yeah. So like it's most people don't think about it because like there's a lot of like weird, like as you say, like there's a lot of weird legal stuff that that we have to sort of figure out and how to like work within.
Yeah, we have to keep constantly being up to date with all the new regulations and stuff as well. Yeah.
Has there been any new regulations that like caught you off guard? Like do the oh wait shit, then I have to adjust some things like for you? Because I haven't been in the scene
Sorry?
for a while. Because I haven't been in the scene for a while. So like has there been any new regulations that like we're like, oh, where is this coming from? Oh, I guess we have to do this now.
Unfortunately, yes. I think you've seen the whole 1975 issue that came up.
I think so. Could you recap it for anyone whose memories are not so vivid with that? Like
this one happened last year. Wait, are we allowed to talk about this?
If there's no like, I mean, like if it's Googleable and there are news articles about it, I think it's okay. Are you worried about something in particular? Oh wait, are we talking? Wait, which one are we? Like, how? Okay, let's err on the side of safety, and we're just gonna skip this a little bit, I guess. But
I think we'll skip this for another because if we start talking about it, it's going to be very long as well.
Yeah. Let's skip the details of that, like because of that incident. Because if you want to, please Google that. I'm just gonna like if I find an article, I'll just link it for like into the comments below, like if anybody wants it. But as a result, let's talk about the results, right? So as a result of that, what happened?
So as a result of that, there are the particular body, the authority has implemented more strict rules for organizers to follow because of that one incident that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So so basically now they're asking for more like verifications and stuff, like stricter like checks and stuff.
Paperwork, more documents, more things to adhere to. Yep.
Yeah. I think like also as a general rule, like for those who have never organized events and like applied for event licenses before, just so you know, like you actually, if you ever try to apply for entertainment license for your events, which you need to, by the way, you'd be asked to submit filing for the police as well. Like the police literally needs to know that you're doing something there. So
Yep.
yeah, so the police knows that all these events are running. Like by right, they would. If they don't, you're running an illegal event, and I don't want to talk to you. Like I'm sorry, bro, but like you're yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, that's good for one question. Let's go for a second one. We have a quick one from in the comment section by It's Chocoleta. Since ACG events tend to ACG events tend to evolve from time to time, how do you keep track with trends that's going on in the ACG events like VTubers and such?
Good question. Yeah, because Malaysia also has our ACG scene typically runs on whatever's trending, currently trending.
Right.
So we do rely on our community or our crew, the Gaki team, because our Gaki team also consists of different people, who have different interests and are following different subcultures. So one instance is like the VTubers.
Yeah.
That's it trend since MCO that time. So honestly, I do not know anything about VTubers, so we will rely on like we'll reach out to the community is one, and also reach out to the Gakis who is regularly how do you say digesting who is
Consuming.
consuming, sorry, yeah,
Yes, consuming the content.
this, yeah, consuming content, and would be professionals, I mean the experts on
So
these subcultures lah.
so basically you consult fan experts.
Yep, because they will know more.
Yeah. Is there
Hmm.
like on that note, right? Is there a trend in recent years that has like surprised you in particular? Or is there any one trend that you've had trouble trying to get behind? Or is there one that stood out that you actually were like, oh my god, this is actually pretty fantastic? Like the reverse.
The reverse. I
Yeah.
think okay. Sorry about this, but the question, the one that I have, I'm very puzzled right now is VTubers like at the moment.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Okay, now I have to ask you why.
Yeah.
Like, do you have an idea on why?
Okay.
Like, what is it that you don't understand?
Okay. For me, I'm still a traditional kind of person. I do want to go out. I do want physical, one-on-one talk with other people.
Right.
Yeah. So that screen, I'm trying to detox myself from the computer screens as well.
Right.
So I do understand the need. During MCO, everyone's locked in. The only way to communicate was via the screen, which VTubers came out. Yeah.
Well,
So
I find it fascinating because I've had conversations with people outside, obviously, about this very specific
right.
thing as well, and very specifically about VTubers, because I got introduced to VTubers, strangely enough, right towards the tail end of COVID. I wasn't even a fan until after the tail end of COVID, meaning that after they hit it big, then I was like, oh hey, cool. And it's really weird because what happens is that my introduction to VTubers came not from VTubers themselves, but from one of the MVs. So, like for anyone who knows, like my first introduction to VTubing was Mori Kalayapi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So who's undercover, and all that. And I was actually watching, like, I got into music. Her music was pretty cool, at least for me. And then from there, I got into like the rest of stuff. I got curious, I just watched the streams and got into it, the rest of it. Sillily enough, like right now, I self-identify as a takodachi, really besides the point.
What's a takodaki?
Takodachi. So basically, here's the thing. So all VTubers have their fans, and their fans have a collective name. So basically, like how you would refer to your team as Gakis.
Gakis, right?
Right. So fans of a specific YouTuber usually have a fan name. So for example, Mori Kalayapi fans are known as Deadbeats.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a play because Mori Kalayapi is supposed to be a Shinigami, so they're all dead, and then like she's also a musician, so they're beats, so they're dead beats, that kind of thing. Okay. So it's a bit of a play.
That's smart.
It's cute. Right. So the one I'm a huge fan of is Ina. So
Ina.
Yeah, so it's Nino Mai Inanis, which is also in the same generation as Mori Kalayapi.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that like because her avatar has octopus like tentacles kind of thing. So all her fan name is Takodachi because it's like taco and then like Tomodachi, so it's Takodachi
Oh, okay.
kind of thing. So it's a little play on that. So
Mm.
like every one of those VTubers have their own thing. It's cute, it's interesting because like even for me myself, I'm more of a passive consumer of the content. But what's
Mm.
interesting, at least for me, and what's and this is just me sharing my personal like sort of how I process this content, is that there is like how you have fondness for certain characters in anime, and you sort of root for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you sometimes
Yeah.
you like watch what's a good example for this? Let's talk One Piece lah, huh? So sometimes let's say for example you root for Ace.
Mm.
And for anyone who's not watched the anime, I'm major spoiler warning here.
It's on
So
Netflix. Go.
yeah, is that arc on Netflix? I think it is. Anyway,
It is, yeah.
I just needed to check whether it's there yet. Because Netflix
Oh,
took a while to get there. Like not all the arcs are there. You know, like the
oh,
latest.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a huge gap in between. So anyway, coming back. So like if you're a huge fan of One Piece and things like that, you're following the story and you're like, oh, I'm rooting for Ace. And then that scene shows up. I'm not going to go into details then, you know, like just in case anyone actually is like spoiler sensitive, right? So
Yeah.
like that scene shows up. That feeling that you get, you know, or that feeling that you have when he was being like, you know, he was being rescued, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that being rescued part is a spoiler. But yeah, so you know, all that kind of scenes, right? That emotional roller coaster that you go through is the same thing that I think some people go through when it comes to VTubers. That's at least true for me. You know?
Okay.
So you get to see them, like you experience them, the moments that they have, you watch them as they game, you go through the struggles that they have. The often people refer to as parasocial relationships. That really sort of depends on how you look at it, because
Right.
there is a certain negative connotation to parasocial relationships that I don't necessarily think it's technically true, but it's not entirely wrong either. Like it's really hard to figure out where the line is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
but yeah. So so speaking from a VTuber's perspective, at least for me, I think that that's where a lot of the excitement comes from.
Right.
Like how you would be excited for a traditional celebrity or anything else. This is the same thing, except that there is a separate, like there's an extra layer in front of you. You know?
Right.
Like how some
There's that
people
virtual. Yeah.
exactly, and where some people would be like fans of, for example, because we're both Malaysians, right? Khairi Jamaluddin. You
Right.
remember him?
Kyrie. Yeah.
Jamaluddin. You remember him, right? By the way, he passed away
Yeah.
already.
Remember him. Yeah.
I think he passed away
Oh,
already.
really?
I think he passed away recently,
Kyrie.
actually, in fact. If I'm not mistaken, if he's still alive, please, I do apologize if he's still alive. I don't mean anything by it, but like my memory is that he passed away. I'm very, very sorry if he's,
Yeah.
yeah. But basically it's the same thing. Like you've watched him present shows over and over again. You've sort of grown an attachment to his personality, his presentation, and all that kind of stuff. You have an emotional attachment, an investment in him, and then that's where the VTuber stuff come in as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Understood. I mean, yeah, no disrespect to anyone. Yeah, but yeah, preference. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like okay, look, like if anyone, I'm just going to put this out there. Like we all have to agree to be able to like and dislike whatever we like and dislike. You know, you know, the kind of thing. Like I'm a huge, like I used to be a huge fan of Marvel movies, and then what my turning point was the Eternals. But I have people who actually like that movie. I know people who actually like that movie. Yeah, I absolutely hated it. I absolutely hated it. Yeah, and then you'll have to go check it out. Conversely, right? I know most people hate Sucker Punch, like Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch. Most people hate it. I actually like it. I don't love it, but I do like it. You know? So yeah, so we all have to
Mm.
agree to like and dislike one another. Like if you can't get behind it, it's perfect. It should be understandable, you know? You can try to
Well,
explain
I
it
think
to
that's
me
a lot
and
of things.
yeah, you can try to explain it to me and maybe get me behind it. But if I can't get it, you have to let go, man. You know? Was there anything on the positive though?
Yeah.
Was there anything that like you got like you found yourself like, oh, I'm unexpectedly really into this?
You know, the subcultures are, any one of it.
Yeah. In
I
case
mean,
you,
music has been, music has always been a big part of why I got into anime as well.
really,
That's nothing new.
who's your favorite performer nowadays? Do you have one?
Mine are very hard to say.
Oh, is there like a too
It,
many
it
to choose
changes,
from?
yeah.
Oh, it
Yeah,
changes.
there's too many to choose from, but there's one in particular that's coming to Malaysia, which is Yuki Kajiura.
Ooh, nice. Nice choice.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah. It's
choice.
coming in November.
Yeah, nice choice. Nice choice. Have you seen him? Have you seen videos of his live?
I actually been to Kajira's live last year, and I actually took a trip to Hong Kong
Wow.
last year to actually watch Kajira's live.
That's
That
insane.
was magical.
That is
Yeah.
insane. Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between listening to it via the headphones and
Yeah, yeah.
and just watching it. Yeah, watching it live is
Yeah.
it's very nice. Very different. Yeah.
So you remember the year that CF like did the show at the Mines, right?
Yeah.
Like where we had like Flo come over.
Oh, Flo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I swear nothing left a deeper impression to me about the power of live music than that. I know CF has been doing a lot of live shows prior to that as well, but like
Yeah.
that was the show that like really left an impression.
But Flo's stage presence, I gotta hand it to them. Like
Right.
it's amazing.
Correct. It's just very different, right? Like the way it feels. I don't know how to describe it, but it really
Very
is very different.
energetic. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. So you it feels so
Because
different.
I actually had the chance to I actually had the chance to catch their live show. So they were here February. Yeah. So to watch them live, they're also of age already.
Yeah.
To have that same energy they had, jumping around, screaming, it's crazy amazing.
They are fantastic people. Like I swear to God, like
Crazy.
they're amazingly dedicated performers. Fantastic performers. Yeah.
The way they capture the crowd, got you to participate. Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, they're just fantastic performers. Anyways, all right, come. Let's continue down. Let's continue down. So we're at COVID. So we've covered the two questions. Guys, if you feel like you're asking anymore, feel free to. There's no quota. All right, let's just don't spam. Okay. So so let's go into COVID years. So how was COVID for AMG? Did you guys do anything? Did you guys try anything during AMG during the COVID years?
Yeah, so COVID hit 2020. Then we took the whole team sort of like the whole world took a break. But we also wanted to do something to reconnect with everyone lah. And we took this opportunity to actually do an online event, which is the AMG Online. Also in August, I believe 2020 was for 2 days. So instead of reconnecting with the local community, we also got a chance to reach out to other parts of the world as well. So that happened, 2020 and 2021. So 2 years we did AniManGaki online. Yeah. So everyone was at home. 2020 we had the chance to go to together as a team with social distancing and stuff. But 2021, unfortunately, COVID hit bad here in Malaysia that time also. So we were actually streaming remotely from each other's home to run the event.
Nice.
That was a very interesting process to go through. And I was sharing with Izo as well, saying that doing an online event is as stressful as doing an on-ground event.
I think yeah, like most people don't think about it, but like it is just
Yeah.
it's you just have different dynamics to worry about.
Yeah.
I
Whole
I
different ball game. Yeah.
yeah, personally for me, like I think one of the my favorite comparisons is like you know how some people comparing about like working from the office versus like working from home kind of thing. Like
Yep.
one of the biggest time wasters in working from home is this very simple question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you? I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Like, yeah, no, I can hear you
Okay.
fine. It's like the first 15 seconds of every Zoom call. It's like, hello, can you hear
Oh,
me? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm here. Is my mic on? Hello, yeah, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. I can hear you now. It's
Going
fine. Yeah,
on the camera.
yeah, yeah. It's like, how do
Mhm.
dude, you have your filter on. Oh shit. It's like the first 15
Oh
seconds
yeah.
of every work call.
Yeah. It's like hello, hello.
Right. Yeah. Oh god. Okay, so since we're on a topic of the COVID years and everything, and because this showed up on my timeline recently, I do want to ask
Mhm.
you a really, really dumb question.
Right.
How many people tried to eat your soap?
I think the only one that we know who posted was Rika.
Do you want to share the story a little bit? Because like I think because I'm not sharing any visuals, and like
Oh,
even if anyone was just purely listening to this as an audio thing, like could you share the story?
yeah, can, no
Mm.
problem. I believe it was 2020, where we were also selling Gaki packs, care pack, during COVID. So inside the care pack that we sold, we had like face masks, wet tissues, hand sanitizers, all the essentials that you need to make sure that you're protected from COVID lah. So our fans would buy, and then we would ship it out lah. There was this particular soap, paper soap that we had inside the pack that looked like do you guys know all those paper thin mint breaths that you take
Breath mints.
and just put it in your mouth? Yeah.
Oh
So
shit.
it looked like that, and I believe one of our customers, Rika, actually posted online, um, took the paper and ate it, thinking it was a breath mint. Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
god.
that yeah, that one got us laughing like crazy. Then we posted a PSA saying that attention everyone who bought the COVID care pack. This is not a breath mint. This is a hand soap. Supposed to put it on your hand, put water and scrub.
Oh god.
That was funny. Yeah.
God. That is scary, man. Like I mean I seriously hope no one got hurt, but like that sounds scary.
I don't think any. I have no idea who else tried it. But yeah, and the only person that we knew was Rika lah.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay, then
Yeah.
so those were the 2 years that was there. Then how has it been since?
So I believe when we started coming out, when the restrictions were lifted, our first event was August again, 2022. We're quite nervous executing the event right after COVID lah, because COVID was still a bit on the high. We still need to keep our face masks on, keep social distancing. So we're not sure. And our government was issuing regulations, updating quite regularly. So we do not know when they will change and all those kind of things. Have to keep updated. So it was a tough challenge to actually execute AniManGaki 2022 that year, because we have to take into consideration like people who are performing on stage, they have to get vaccine. But if they are less than 18-year-old, that time they couldn't get vaccinated. So do they keep their masks on, or do we stay away from them? What are the procedures we have to take into action if we find someone coughing and all this kind of thing lah. So it's quite we're definitely on the kanchong side during 2022.
This is more of a high strung, a little nervous kind of thing for everybody, right?
Yeah. I mean, for people that time also, it's like get out of jail card. You know, everyone is eager to come out.
Right.
They flood events. We've seen a lot of crowd. The events that were happening prior to AniManGaki also, it was crowded. Crowd control sometimes wasn't there, and that kind of thing. So yeah, first year after COVID, the hall was a bit packed. I do not know I do not know why also, but it was packed until it's how to say it was slow moving inside the hall.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of pack, yeah. Mm. So I think to do AniManGaki at that year was quite worrying because of the COVID.
Were you back in Sunway Pyramid at the time?
So I think I missed this one out.
Right.
So 2019 was actually the first year that we shifted to Mines,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So of course 2018 was the year that we took up the entire space also. I believe it was the second year that we took up the entire space of Sunway Pyramid Convention Center. So there were new players and new attendees or participants who want to come in, but we couldn't accommodate them because we were already at the peak level. So we took a leap of faith and then shifted to Mines in 2019. And then after that, we say, oh, okay, this is a bigger space. We can definitely grow on it. Then COVID hit, 2022. Also, we decided to still stick on with Mines because we do see a potential to grow over there. Mm.
Right. So was 2023 as well in the Mines? Because I think it was, right? Like you guys did it at the Mines,
Yeah,
and I think you guys were still at the Mines this year as well.
Yeah, still at the Mines this year as well. Yep.
Yeah, I do apologize because I haven't been back for your show for like the last few years, especially because
No worries. Hopefully,
but-
can see you next year.
oh god, I really hope so. I really don't know because things have been crazy for me. Like I'm based in Singapore nowadays. I barely go to
Right.
events partially because I not to say like I'm allergic to crowds. It's just that I'm very selective about like the crowds I dive into. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I oh shit, what was that? Something just sounded like it dropped. I don't know where it came from. Anyway,
So what's that?
oh no, because sounded like something dropped. I have no idea what it was. Anyway, so yeah, so I was it's like one of the crazier things is like I don't want to go like one of the shows I constantly go back for is CF. Partially because it's sort of my alma mater kind of thing.
Right.
But it's also because like I mean like CF puts a lot of elbow grease into managing its queues. And by the way, I'm actually a very big critic about like what CF does right and what CF does wrong. Like I'm usually very blunt and honest about it. My standards are impossible, also just worth noting. So like last year, just to see how like the queues were managed and everything else, you know. Like last year, I went in the most notable one because I was there at I think around 8:30, 9 o'clock. This is AM. The halls were supposed to open at 10, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened was that it was 9 o'clock ish. I was in line. The line at the time was up to the back end to one of the halls, like it's hall 5 kind of thing. So one of the tail ends of it, right? And then it started drizzling. And if you know anything about the line is actually open, like it's exposed. You're going to get wet if it just left there. 9:30. By 9:30, I was indoors in an air-conditioned space, sitting cross-legged in a carpeted hall, waiting for the doors to open. That is CF's management of lines. You know?
Yep.
So I feel like, give credit where credit is due. I know I sound like I'm actually blowing like, air up CF's R's at this point. But it's important to recognize like it takes a lot of will to want to do something like that. I mean, and obviously there's a lot of like, you know, cost and effort and all that kind of shit as well.
Yep.
But but the fact is, like, for them to actively say this is what we're going to do if it starts raining, and execute it accordingly, right? And provide an experience where like 9:30, I'm in a hall, 10 o'clock, I'm walking straight to the artist booths. I feel like that deserves some credit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Definitely, it's not easy, lah. Yeah.
right. So I'm not saying that I'm not willing to dive into a crowd, because obviously CF's crowd is quite significant as well. But I
Yeah.
also don't want to, you know, go line up for an event that feels like they're not giving a shit about the lines, or where the line just stretches indefinitely into the blazing hot sun, and no one's trying to, like, you know, manage the queue or anything else in between. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I just don't want to go to an event like that. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that that's kind of like this kind of weird paranoia that I have, and it stopped me from going to a lot of events nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully next year.
Hopefully, lah.
Yeah. But I do want to ask though, on that note, like, since you moved to the mines, has there been any new challenges that you guys had experienced? Like, any like unique things about the mines that were unusual for you?
Any unusual ones? I think managing the traffic was interesting. Because we had to rely on mines that one. But they got a hang of it after in 2020. They did a fantastic job managing the traffic outside in 2023.
Oh, really?
So
So the mines
2024 was
themselves have
horrible.
people, like, so
I mean, they
the
help.
mines themselves
Yeah.
actually. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they help lah, because they do know the roads in and out, so they do know how to deter the traffic and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
think
good.
a constant challenge is the internet. That one we gotta find a way to fix it. Yeah.
I think that one's a bit hard to avoid. Like, so for anyone who's not aware, like, and by the way, I've seen people who post this up on like all the public channels and stuff, like complaints about events and shit, right? Like, very common event, like very common for a lot of Malaysian events is a lot of people complaining about the internet.
The internet, yeah.
And the real reality is, and this really honestly should have been my answer earlier instead of the legal challenges stuff, because the fact is,
Okay.
like the fact is, right, a lot of the public will keep asking, like, oh, can you like contact people to bring in boosters and stuff like that. Just so you know, CF signal is boosted. It's just that there's just that many people.
Wow. And you guys, CF still has that issue of the internet being down. Yeah.
For it to be like guaranteed was like if you get a landline. Yeah, but Wi-Fi is just not fantastic. I say this because like there's a couple of times when like CF had like I think one of the telco sponsors, and like they were saying like they brought in like booster, like those mobile boosters as well. Like apparently they tried to, but yeah, it's just too many people.
Still cannot support the amount of people.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I once again, I really don't know the logistics behind this, but like that's what I heard. Yeah. So it's pretty insane. Like I don't know how so that's why like at the end of the day, if you really need internet, you get a landline and that's about it. Yeah.
Gonna cost a lot, that one.
Yeah. Everyone, like, I understand everyone's pains on this one because I'm affected all the time. I can't buy shit. I remember one time I was in the cosplay area for like the cosplayer area for CF, right? I wanted to buy something. So what I would do is I would scan the QR code, and there would be enough of a signal for me to get that. Then I would run outside. I'll tell them, I was like, I'm going to run outside and pay for this. So I run outside with my phone up, obviously, because how else are you going to get a signal, right? So holding my phone
that's
up.
the general,
right? So waiting for a signal. I see it confirmed, swipe it, watch it confirm, then I run back in and go like, okay, done. That was like what I was doing with every booth.
Oh my god.
Hilarious.
Oh. That's crazy. But yeah, a lot of the vendors are all, which is great. They're switching to e-wallets and stuff.
Mm,
It's a better security lah. So yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Mm.
I do want to ask though, because since you mentioned traffic, like I've always been very surprised that like now the
Yep.
mines would actually take an active role in managing the queue, in managing the crowd flow. Because
I believe it's actually the public road outside there because
right,
mines itself they only have one way in, one way out.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the reason
So
why I say that is because back when CF did it there that 1 year, like the traffic was
oh
so
yeah.
bad that
Mm.
like CF is just like super paranoid about managing that space. Like we're not like that's why CF never does it there anymore.
Mm.
Because the like not I mean KLCC by far a better space anyway.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that bottleneck that was the car bottleneck, right? It's just a freaking nightmare.
Mm. Yeah, that one traffic light outside there, yes.
Correct.
That one is the
Yeah.
problem lah. But I believe we also had this paranoia amongst our community also when we announced when AMG announced
Oh,
that we were going to be at Mines in 2019. So most of the comments were like saying that it's gonna be CF's traffic jam all over again. When was the year you got CF did at Mines?
my memory is really bad on this one. I actually can't remember. I'm so sorry.
2020 something.
It definitely is in the 2010s. It's definitely in the 2010s.
2010s.
I just can't remember which one. Because what happened was like CF was in KLCC for a couple of years, then left KLCC for a couple of years, then came back to KLCC
Yeah.
after a couple of years, and I can never remember that gap because my brain like I don't know why. Like I remember 2010 was in like Times Square, and then after that it's like a haze. It's a fog to me in that space, like that one in between. So yeah, and
The
the worst
W's,
thing,
yeah.
yeah, I think it could have been 2017. I think I should have remembered it because once again, Flo was there. I really should have remembered, but
Oh yeah, Flo was there.
yeah.
Oh no.
So the story on that one was like because CF always has like a mainstay like content and stuff like that. So at that year,
Yep.
CF was growing big. It was starting to really like pick up and stuff like that. And going with a new venue, like especially the mines, we were worried about like people's willingness to go there and stuff. So we brought in Flow as a means to like sort of bolster interest and stuff, like basically make it more worth it for people to travel the distance. And and then apparently we overdid it because
The whole traffic jam incident, yeah.
I
remember.
heard the story was that there were people who actually took 8 hours to get into the hall, or was it leaving and it took
serious?
8 hours to get out
That's
of the hall? I
crazy.
can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it was in or out, but like there were stories like people getting stuck on the road for 8 hours.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
I think
or
ours were
like
AMG was
8
4
hours.
hours in the no,
Was
4
it
hours in the parking lot. That's about it.
was it 8 hours or was it 8 kilometers of jam? I can't remember
Oh,
anymore.
that's
It's been
crazy.
forever. It's been too long. I'm so sorry. Oh God.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, but
too many memories, right?
I specifically remember 8 being a number, but I can't remember whether it's 8 kilometers of jam or is it 8 hours of jam. I
8
think it's
hours
8 kilometers of
instead.
jam because I remember some people referring to the map, the Google Maps image, and it was like, and you can see like nothing but red, like it's just
Red
standstill.
color.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So like, yeah. Also, really side note, and this is one thing. Once again, I should have really used this as a lighter note. I want to ask this: did vendors does the Mines shopping malls like does it still exist as a shopping mall? Does the connecting shopping mall still like function?
Yeah, the Mine shopping mall is still there. Basically the Mine shopping mall is a neighborhood mall that serves the that neighborhood itself,
The space itself,
right?
right? So the question I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
ask was like, did when AMG went there, did they run out of food as well?
Yes, they did in 2019.
So
But they learned in 2022 lah.
right.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? Like this is the same thing when it came to once again, like stuff that most people don't know is that when consistently big events happen, and we've had people who complain about this online, by the way, who come and say
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Oh, you guys should have told the mall, or you guys should have told the shops that like to prepare more food and stuff like that. How could they run out of food?" It's like, hey, it's not like we didn't.
Why are they complaining, you guys?
It's like no, like it's like for us as organizers, right? I'm quite sure you guys did this as well. Like we usually would tell the malls and like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this. Please remember to stock up," and stuff like that. No one listens. No one listens the first time.
I mean, they were aware that
Yeah,
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 there's an event happening.
yeah.
They should have
Yeah, but no one
stock up.
believes you the first time. No one believes you the first time
Oh,
because
they don't. Yeah,
yeah, because everyone says that about their event, and they're like, no, I'm not going to bring in extra stock because if I do it and then like no one comes, then it's like, oops, like I'm going to burn a lot of extra stock, right? So no one believes you the first time. Then they need to
yeah,
they want to get punched in the face one time, and then they were like, oh, okay, so you weren't lying.
yeah. Oh, oops, I got to do better. Then I think our time was 2020 COVID. We couldn't run, so the
Right.
next chance they had was like 2022.
Right, right.
Mm.
Yeah. I say that with a smile on my face right now because it's like it's a recurring thing with CF. Like it's not even a joke. Like it happened in Penang when they did CF Mini. It happened in the mines. It happened in KLCC. It happened in Putra World Trade Center, PWTC.
Wow, Putra World Trade Center was the mall next to it, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the same thing. It happens over and over again. Like
Got track
no
record, but they don't believe you. Yeah.
like it's like no one believes you until it happens. And then after that, you go like, oh, okay, I better prepare more next time. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever,
No
man.
more buy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
silly things.
No, it's fun to see. Sometimes it's fun to see all these things.
Yeah. All right, Jolene, we're at our 2-hour mark. I do want to spend a little bit. I don't have any additional questions at this point, but I do want to spend a little bit of extra time asking you, sort of more of a retrospective kind of questions. I just want to spend a little bit of extra time just asking you this sort of very meta. Oh wait, before we go there, I do want to ask you one extra thing though. So I think for some who have been following AMG's stuff, they may or may not be hyper aware of it, but AMG does also do things outside of events, right?
Right.
So do you want to share? Do you care to share a little bit about that as well? Like, what else have you guys done, and like what else like some people might be able to look forward to?
Oh, okay. Can. I think as you mentioned, apart from AniManGaki, also we do run smaller projects as well. We have done, but this one is under the AMG bracket, which is the AniManGaki in Johor. Then we also do AMG Chan. Apart from that, also I believe this year is the big first year that we are also venturing into the exhibition side. So we were also involved in the exhibition that happened in Pavilion Bukit Jalil, which is the Full Metal Alchemist exhibition. Yeah, that one was really a road down memory lane for a lot of our generation. In our age range, yeah.
Can you stop making me sound so old? I know that is the premise of this entire podcast, but please stop making me sound so old.
I mean, Full Metal Alchemist is a very old, yeah. It's a, how do you say, it's one of those anime that the new gens they don't really they have not seen it, that kind of thing. Yeah. To run
People nowadays.
Full Metal Alchemist.
What is wrong with young
Right.
people nowadays?
Sorry?
What is wrong with young people nowadays?
Yeah, they need to watch. Yeah, I mean this is one of the masterpiece of the anime industry also lah. Right.
Let's embrace the old taku title completely, man. I'm gonna change. Like sooner or later, I'm just gonna completely change the name of this podcast. So there's old takus at sea.
Otaku S.E.A.
Yeah,
I think that's a
Otakus
very
S.E.A.
good very good title.
Shit.
Down memory lane. Let's go here. Yeah, so we've been doing exhibitions, Full Metal. Then after that, we were involved with the Attack of Titan, which was one of my highlights for for the exhibition lah, because Attack of Titan, we've been following Attack of Titan for like 10 years, right, since it started. Yeah, then to actually get involved ourselves to run the exhibition was a great pleasure in doing it lah. It was really fun. Then right now we are also running the Jujutsu Kaisen exhibition at Fahrenheit 88.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that one is for the young people, because apparently I
like
heard
Jujutsu
Jujutsu
as well.
Kaisen is Jujutsu Kaisen is something similar to how Naruto was for us back then, for the current generation.
I
Yeah.
feel like that comparison says a lot of like, oh god.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Yeah,
okay, so
this is what I heard lah.
did you watch? Do you watch?
I have watched season 1, but I do not know why I cannot remember what happened.
Oh my god,
That's bad, right?
it's not great. Well, it's certainly not great, but like I'm personally a fan. But it's such the design, the art, the story that it speaks of, the casualness in which the artist kills characters. Like, it's so insane. Like, I'm not saying that it's bad that you like Jujutsu. I'm saying that comparing it with Naruto is a bit crazy. Like, it's like Naruto is really typical old school shonen, which is like it's super positive. No one dies. Everyone's like death is so rare, and everyone's like just there, and the cast just grows up and kind of thing. Like, it's really typical shonen
right.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you like when somebody dies, it's like a huge event and stuff like that, right? But like Jujutsu, right? It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna wipe like half my cast because I just feel like it. You know, like that
Yeah.
happens. Like if you watched I think this is definitely in season 2. Like season 2, like where like some of the most like critical death scenes and stuff like that were all in season 2.
The Tantan man, I forgot his name.
Yeah, I'm very intentionally not mentioning it because it's a spoiler kind of thing. Like, so yeah, just very,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
So like if you've not watched it, go ahead. You know,
It's been trending online. Yeah.
yeah, it was a whole thing on its own, right? And
Yeah.
like especially the whole Kelantan thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So it's is it Kelantan? No.
Yeah, it's Kuantan.
Is
No,
it
not Kuantan, sorry,
No, it's
Kuantan.
not. It's Kuantan. Yeah,
Kuantan.
exactly.
Yeah.
Why did I say Kelantan?
Pahang there.
Yeah, it's Kuantan. It's
I
completely
said
different state.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Kuantan.
Yeah, anyway, it's Kuantan. So, by the way, I used to have relatives in Kuantan. I actually know how the beaches look like. So yeah, so like it's just tonally so different from Naruto that I worry about sometimes about like the newer generations, if that is their Naruto. like I know the world is not as bright as it used to be, but holy shit, if that is your Naruto, I think you need more light in your life.
I heard this is their Naruto.
Yeah, like I
comparison, yeah.
I genuinely feel like I'm not saying it's bad because it's still really really good. Like, it's a really good manga. But at the same time, I'm like, I think you need more light in your life. You know, like it's like Jujutsu is really really like sad. Like, not sad in a bad way, like as in like it is, you know, like it feels heavy.
There's too much things going on, is it? I don't know. I didn't watch season 2, so
I guess that's one way of looking at it. It's more like the story isn't like the typical shonen comics that we grew up with were stuff like fight the power, you know, like, oh, I want to beat the big bad, I want to grow big, I want to like make friends and like la-di-da kumbaya, and we all beat the big bad together, you know, the kind of thing, right? Yeah.
Nakama.
Yeah, exactly. It's not to say Jujutsu doesn't have that, but like you know, like, but Jujutsu has scenes where it's like, yeah, we're gonna fight the big bad. Oops, I lost a limb. And then like, I'm gonna fight the big bad. Then like, oops, I lost a friend.
Oh, okay. It's heavier, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that, and it's like, and then you have like characters who are introduced in the beginning of the chapter, and then they don't even survive the chapter.
You know, spoilers.
Like I'm not even naming names, so like it's up to you to figure out who they are, right?
Yep.
And so like it's that kind of weighty, heavy, like revolving door of cast. And once again, not saying it's bad, because the story and the artwork, the pacing of it feels pretty good. I do feel
Right.
it's a bit fast for my taste, but like I still think it's pretty good. But if that is your Naruto, like I mean, like I feel like you need a Naruto. Like I feel like you need a lighter comic to, like something lighter to read.
They need to watch Naruto lah.
I mean, you don't have to specifically pick up Naruto, but like, yeah. Like,
Something like that.
what would be a good equivalent nowadays anyway?
Sorry, what would be a
What would be a good equivalent nowadays anyway?
the
Is
current one lah.
yeah, because I think even like so maybe because I'm a little bit on the older side, right? Like so Feiren is one of my recent favorites.
Ah, okay, yeah.
But like if you watch and read Feiren, like it's super nostalgic, and it's like once again the freaking thesis of this entire show as well.
Just looking back, right, Feiren?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, back in my days, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Kimetsu, Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer. I don't know.
I actually no. Demon Slayer does sound like a good equivalent, but I feel like Demon Slayer is like today's Yu Yu Hakusho kind of thing.
It's also a bit heavy as well
Correct.
in the beginning part.
Correct. Exactly. So that's why I say like it's today's Yu Yu Hakusho. It's not quite Naruto. Naruto's still a lot brighter. But but we're getting closer to that ballpark, right?
Demon Slayer. Attack of Titan's too heavy. That one's
definitely. It's like the instant you had like I'm going to treat humans as a munchable, then yeah, that's a little bit too much already.
Eating humans and no.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, what's that one? Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so I mean, tonal shifts of content aside, right? Like I wanted to ask also as well, like for you, because as I was saying earlier, right? Like I wanted to ask a bit like retrospective kind of thing, like what has been sort of the speaking from purely from an anime from AniManGaki's perspective as an event, right? Like what have you seen the event shift or change the most in this last, like, how long has it been? Has it been 15 years?
Oh, this year will be our 16th year.
Yeah, exactly. 16 years. So that's about roughly 15 years, right? So like all this.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you're officially old enough to drive a motorcycle in Malaysia.
Kei-chan is a rebellious teenager right now.
It's a motorcyclist at this point.
Motorcyclist.
Yes. And you are also, if I'm not mistaken, the oldest you can get while still being considered a minor.
Malaysia is 18, no, right?
No, 16. As a minor.
16.
As a minor is 16. Minor being emphasis. Yeah, basically.
So next year will be an adult lah.
Next year you're old enough to drive a car.
Oh, right, 17.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, so yes. So like what has been the biggest changes for you? Like because Kei-chan has officially hit puberty well enough at this point. So what has been like the biggest shifts for you?
Changes. I believe the way we organize AniManGaki really didn't change much. We still go back to the community. If there are a community who wants to grow themselves, we are openly having them in. I think the changes is actually watching people grow when they actually join AniManGaki, right? Because we've seen visitors or gakis, they're performers or doujin artists or cosplayers themselves who started off as AniManGaki is our first CG event, something like that, and then they've grown into like they're judges themselves. They're competing on international stages, or they even have a band on their own, or they even have a family and popping out babies. That's quite that's the most changes I've been seeing.
I love how you frame that. Like it's popping out babies. It's just like popcorn, man. Like
I mean, we have requests from people to because we asked what else could AniManGaki offer to you guys? Said, please open a daycare center. So they just dump their babies there or their children there, then the adults will go shopping.
So,
Yeah,
so
it's fun to see, lah. Yeah.
I oh god. On that note, right? Do you still
Yeah.
remember like when events became a place that people would like propose to their
Oh
SO
yes.
to? Like
Yeah, I think
I
it was a very high trend in CF, isn't it?
at one point, yes, and I can't remember when
Yeah.
was the first one anymore. Like it's been so long. I think the one that caught a lot of people's attention, and some people might know about this one, is like at one point, there was a couple who came in
Mm-hmm.
to CF dressed like right after their wedding.
Is this serious? Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
what I had the impression of, because what happened was
Mm-hmm.
like the guy was still wearing the formal Malay the formal Malay garb, you know, the one with I don't know what it's called. There's a formal term. It's not a songkok, by the way. It's the one that's a sharp tip on a thing. I keep forgetting what it's called.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the groom would wear
Yeah, exactly. And then
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
and so like
Mm.
they would be in full regalia and they were like walking through CF's halls. It was when one of the
Oh,
KLCC years, because I remember them walking through KLCC during that time. There were pictures of them
wow.
in KLCC, like in KLCC, like the event halls and stuff.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one's
Wow.
yeah. So like I think that one for me was like holy, like wow. Like
It's
I
like
think
when did our event become like this?
yeah, it's
A
like
place
oh
for
my,
this kind of things.
it's like
Yeah.
I mean it's amazing, but at the same time, you know, it's like oh wow. Like,
Shocking.
yeah. Is there anything for you that you feel like you'd love AMG to do more of, or to be able to do in the future?
Hmm.
Or that very specifically you've not been able to do yet, like in the past, especially looking back?
Right now, nothing yet. I don't think so. Because every year is always been a I'll say we always have, AMG has always been testing new things, trying out new things, so always evolving, and depending on the trend also, that's one thing, and also what the current market needs. Then I don't know. We'll see where it'll take us. Right now, there's no specific thing that I don't know. There's nothing on my mind at the moment.
It certainly happens, because I think like
Mm,
I mean we're all subject sometimes, like, you know, to the river that we're on, right? So when you're trying to do an event that's targeted for the audience that is around you, you
yep.
sometimes have to work with the flow, and you really sometimes like don't really know what to where you might land and stuff.
True. True. Yeah. You don't know what to expect, lah. That's
Exactly.
what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like one personally for me, like I wish the cosplay invitationals would come back for CF, but like I understand that it's tough and things aren't as easy. So
Okay.
yeah,
Mm.
so like it was always a thing that um I think like SCF right now is growing in its own way. It needs to try and figure out what it wants to try and do. And because I can't be
Mm.
actively involved anymore, it's a story that I cannot be helping to write, you know, that kind
Right.
of thing. But I love what the invitational did for the cosplay scene.
And congratulations on that.
Oh,
Yeah. It was
no, no, go
interesting.
for it. Oh no. There's a bit of a story to that one, and I'll be the first to tell you that speaking as the guy who cosplayed, you know, at his first comic fiesta and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was never that bigger fan of dumping a lot of resources into promoting cosplay. All cards on the table. Very, very honest.
Mm.
My mindset has since changed, obviously, because
All right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I think like there is like, because at the end of the day, there are different needs between the different like facets of fandom.
Yep.
So like you artists who want to pursue their art, like, you know, illustrations, comics, and stories, and what and like those kind of media related stuff. like that approach is like their needs and their approach and the kind of support they need and the kind of support you can give as a platform is different from cosplayers, performers, musicians, and all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Different
So
people, different needs.
yeah, exactly. And recognizing that and sort of recognizing like your role as one of the big platforms that's around, like you sort of your mindset needs to change, you know? I'm quite sure you encountered very similar like experiences as well.
Right.
Yeah. Like I know there are people who are a lot more positive than I am. I've always been very jealous of them in many ways because I'm personally always been very skeptical. I've always been a skeptic. But but I've always tried to keep an open mind to alerts, like different things. And over time, like it's just very natural for people to be able to change my mind as I watch how it's changed both the people and the community by and large, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's it's crazy because one of the things that like as we go through this show with you and all that, I'm constantly reminded about my own contributions to the scene, and of all of that includes the initial drafting of the cosplay competition rules and regulations that I'm very sure that a lot of events ended up copying from CF.
That's a given. Yeah.
Do you know why I bring that up?
Not too sure, but yeah.
I've got people who called me out on this, by the way. So my old CF teammates and stuff, like they would constantly call me out on this, and I still hold it as a badge of honor because I'm very sillily proud of this. At one point, because so one point CF's rules and regulations were written by a volunteer a bunch of volunteers whose English wasn't their first language. So I edited a bunch of it, and in a large part, the latest formalized versions, the older formalized versions of CF's rules and regulations, cosplay rules and regulations in particular, was like done by me. Then a lot of people started copying that one. I got annoyed because no one credited CF. Like, I don't care if I was personally credited. I want CF to get the credit at least. You know, like at least say like you at least reach out to CF and say, hey, can I use your rules and regulations? You know, that kind of thing. Like
the courtesy.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So people started doing that. I got really, really annoyed. So what I started doing was I started embedding like typos, very intentional typos, or misspelling CF as an event, or alternating like how I refer to CF, like either as Comic Fiesta S or CF. So you can't just control F and replace everything.
Yeah.
You have to read line by line, look for all of it, and just change everything. That's what I was trying to do.
Right.
I found, so apparently it worked, and some of it like got embedded, and you can see like some of the typos in some other people's postings, and I was like, haha, you clearly stole it from us, kind of thing.
Oh my god, that's proof. Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't even remember it anymore. It was a very petty thing for me to do, but at the same time, I was just so annoyed by the whole practice, right? Since then, after I left the team, like the guys have actually just straight up like changed it so that there's like, you know, properly, and like no more typos and stuff.
Right.
Like they've since erased all of that, and I'm like, sure, whatever. Yeah, but it was one of those kind of things where I was like, it annoyed the crap out of me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just to take something and not get credited also a bit.
I'm sorry if that went a little bit personal on my side. For those who've heard, like who've been following this podcast, you might have heard me talk about it before, because it has always been this kind of weird blip in my history that I'm like strangely proud, and as well as like somewhat like, because it was just purely out of spite.
Anyway. Oh god.
All right, Jolene. We are right now at a 2.5 hour mark. We've caught up to present day at AMG. I've got one quick question, which was regarding this year's AMG, which just happened. What was it, a month ago?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a month ago. Yeah.
Okay, because I've not been following the news. Tell me, how many people were there? Like, officially speaking, like what was your PAX like?
So this year we did AniManGaki on the 23rd to the 25th of August. 3 days event. So
3 days
we
event.
officially, 3 days event, we officially hit about 30,000 people for 3 days.
Congratulations. Now,
Thank you.
for context, your first
Yep.
event, like you were earlier saying, was 700 people.
700 people, yeah.
That is what
Insane.
400%, like 4,000% increase. Sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
right. 4,000%
It's
increase
crazy, yeah.
across what essentially is 16 years. It's been a very long journey. Congratulations once again.
Thank you. Yeah.
So let's look forward
Congrats
to
to the team. Yeah.
yeah.
Surviving. Yeah.
Looking forward to the next 16 years then.
Next 16 years. All right.
All right. So I think that's all the time we have here for tonight. I'm gonna call it an end because Julian, for what it's worth, this has been like your longest public like chat for a while, I guess.
Sorry.
Has it?
I'm glad.
Is this your longest chat? I don't know. Because you said that
This
you've
is
never
my
done many
very
interviews.
first, yeah, my very first chat, and also, yeah, had never been this long before.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
So, yeah. So guys, like all cards on, like I know I put Jolene a little bit on the spot, so please take it easier on her. If you said anything that you feel like, hey, you find objectionable, don't throw it at her. Throw it at me because I put her on the spot. Leave your comments or
Don't make
complaints
aside.
in the comments below. I will get back to you as much as I can. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to know more about AMG and exactly what they do, there are links inside the description below. You'll be linked to their social media website. There's even a contact email if you want to contact them. You want to know more about what they do. Yeah. So as for everything else, I think this is it for us tonight. The next Geeks at Sea, and this is going to be a very special one, because usually what happens is there's one Geeks at Sea every 2 weeks. So I usually do one on, like right now it's on the 27th of September. The next one would have been I believe 11th of October. That's normally. But I have a very special one next week because I actually managed to, I'll be actually having Team Chendol on next week, which is both Candy and Rika. Hopefully everything goes on and goes well, and we'll be able to do it together. Because it'll be the first time I'm actually having two people on at the same time on the stream. So hopefully I don't have too many technical difficulties for that night. But I'll be having Rika and Candy on for the night of the 4th of October, which is next week. The announcement should be going up next week as well. So please look forward to that, along with the links. I hope to see everyone next week on Friday, where we'll be sharing a little bit more about their history as cosplayers in KL. Right? So till then, I hope to hear from everyone again. God, I am so horrible at my send-offs. Till then, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend ahead. Good night, everyone. This is Jared, aka Bimji, signing off. Good night, Bim Bong.
Good night.
Where's my exit?